But today we're gonna go. This is the second session of my trilogy here. This one is Unleashing the Beast. We're gonna unlock advanced AI interactions. So before we jump into that, this is a bit about myself. I've been in IT for 10, 15 years plus now. Top 1% in cybersecurity, multinational cybersecurity. I'm actually teaching here out of Kiev, Ukraine, doing some cyber consulting out here and kind of getting up to date with it. I'm heading to Egypt in a few weeks, so I'm kind of on the bleeding edge of what's going on out there. But obviously, cyber moves so quickly that even with bleeding edge stuff, you still got to go back and see what vocab and jargon that they've made. So it's always good there. Creative programs in a few schools, work with law enforcement, big companies here. I run my cyber firm, Cyber Tech Defense, and so it's a little bit about me. All right. So latest AI news we've got. So yeah, someone mentioned before class started here, EUs, they're talking about making some type of AI law similar to GDPR, which is the European Union cybersecurity standard. We've got one here for potentially a way to do something with AI. So they're basically talking over having AI language models register, having them disclose where they got their information on, where they trained. Me personally, I think it's going to be a complete pain for anyone to do an open source model, and then if it goes the route of everyone needs a license to do this, and that's going to be ridiculous because, well, at the end of the day, this was all trained on stuff that you could access with your browser, and that's relatively free. There's just so much information out there. And so I have a feeling it's going to lead to a lot of closed sourcing of information, a lot of paywalls and stuff like that, because information, pretty much all of human information is now available on a phone. But now they need to find a way to monetize it because it's so easily accessible, and LLMs are destroying the way that we really used to be able to obtain information. It used to be more difficult, but it's not as much now since of these LLMs and AI. Another one is AI censorship, kind of tying with creating some kind of standardization with this AI. If you try to ask Google Bard, which is internet connected, anything about Israel right now, it won't tell you. It'll say, I can't talk about that or whatever it is. Bing might be similar. Obviously, these big enterprises have their brand name reputations to protect when it comes to allowing certain information to be found. But at the end of the day, there are bypasses, and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. So today's agenda, we're going to go over some basic AI theory. We're going to go on a brief about prompting. I know Neil already covered a really in-depth session that he had about jailbreaking. We're going to go over a little more of a deep dive on tokens and memory, on how that actually works with AI. Basics of jailbreaking, kind of like a summary, but then we're going to move into kind of jailbroken AI versus jailbreaking them. We're going to look at Hugging Face and Colab a little bit more in depth. We're going to do an intro to some auto GPTs, testing out one of them, and then we're going to basically go over and figure out what we want to take away from all of this. So how the Q&A of this session will work is, due to our time, it's best if we just throw it inside chat, like a Twitch stream or something like that. I do that, so I'm quite used to that. So I have chat really large, and I can just pull chat live, no issues. And then George will answer some questions as well, and you can share whatever experience you had in there. So that's how it will be. If you have any questions about it, throw it up in chat, and then we can go over it if it's there, and I can queue it up if we have a hot topic. So with that, just some basics, right? Because I really want to spend most of this time showing you things. You all can read slides. I sent it all to you. That's not really the cool part about this stuff. So some basics of the AI theory is, we're going to really go into something called an uncensored AI. And we're going to really break down what the differences between all the different AI types are out there. My last session, we went over about 5 or 6 different AI models, and some of them I was briefing on. Some of them are better at internet connection. Some of them are better at certain questions. But today we're really going to deep dive into the non-commercial models and things like that, so that we can do things like have specialized AI models about topics that you can ask it, about trending topics, about things that you want to learn. Like, say, for example, Gabriel wants to learn how to do machine learning. Great, we can do it on a link. Dwayne, you can ask George for the last session's link. And we can basically do things that you can't do with ChatGPT. If you want to send it files, if you want to run the AI on your computer, if you want to have it read your files, write files, code programs for you, and save it on your computer, you can do that all with AI, but you need to be able to get past and break out of that matrix that they have. Because right now, all these AI are kind of like cloud services and not necessarily something that is a thing that we're used to using locally. Is that even safe? What if it connects to the internet? We're going to talk a little bit about all of that. So we're going to start with the most common, the most popular, the one that started it all, AI, large language model, ChatGPT or chat.openai, right? So I'm not going to go over what it is. We know what it is. It's been basically a year. The difference between 3.5 and 4 is the capacity, the strength of it, and stuff like that. But right now, the basics of prompting, because we want to actually now get value out of these AI, is the more specific we are with our prompt, the better it's going to be. Obviously, we want to send an output to make it do certain things. Say, we want to specify it for a elementary school, or we want to specify it towards college students or professors. Or we can have it where you can say, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, right? You can have it, you can control the output, and you can control how specific it is, or if it needs to be creative and generate ideas. Does it need to be in a list? Does it need to be like a block of text for an email or a blog post, whatever it may be? The other part of it is memory and tokens. You might have noticed sometimes your chat sessions might not remember the first few things that you messaged it, because it has something called hallucination that we kind of spoke about in the last session, where it's not necessarily pitch perfect at memory, even though it's a computer. But that's due to the way that these large language models process the chats. And it's not necessarily sending the chat verbatim every single time. It uses a combination of summarization models as well as just tokenizing the chat. And that we're going to go into a little bit more, which is going to be about the tokens. And this kind of goes hand in hand with jailbreaking and prompt efficiency, as well as session and chat efficiency. If you have to write a little paragraph every single time you're prompting your AI to try to get an output, then that might be useful to get one input, but that's not going to be efficient over time. So we have a few options of either saving the session in a LLM manager, or you can have it where you have the system just be jailbroken in the first place, so you don't have to do that, right? And obviously there's like Pi, what we went over last time. They can be very interactive and ask you follow-up questions or send you sources and things like that. So the basics of prompting is there. Now we're going to look into jailbreaking a little bit here. I know that Neil went over this in depth, so I'll be brief. Jailbreaking is you're just going to get it to do output it typically wouldn't do due to restrictions. Now, you don't have to worry about this if it's already jailbroken or uncensored, but for example, you try to ask ChatGPT how to write a hacking script to do a network scan. It's going to say, I can't help you with that. It's against my policy. If you ask Bard, it's going to say the same thing. Bing will say the same thing, because those are all restricted. Those are all censored AI. Google's probably one of the more censored ones. ChatGPT has a lot of data with it as well, but people have been using it so much, and it's kind of causing it to be garbled. Now, some of you may have heard of something called Dan, Do Anything Now. It was a jailbreaking script that was probably effective maybe 6 months ago. Now it completely doesn't work because it actually got news coverage, and therefore they just patched it. So if any of these jailbreaking scripts become popular or too popular, they just train against it and it doesn't work anymore. And you want to jailbreak these LLMs because, for example, GPT-4 is one of the best LLMs out there. But if you wanted to get it to script something and it doesn't like how you're scripting a hacking program, you have to either jailbreak it or say it's hypothetical or for school, or you have to be indirect about it. And so There's a resource out here. It's called Jailbreak Chat. This is basically all we're going to go into about jailbreaking. Is it's just a collection of prompts that work for jailbreaking. Upvote if it's good, downvote if it doesn't work. And so these are the ones that work for GPT-4. The best votes, like this is AIM. This says 717, but it's really long and it uses up a lot of memory, or it uses a lot of tokens. And so imagine every single time you're going to insert a prompt, you have this giant thing, AI LLM, large language model, because it's using language. So what it's doing here is it's putting this the whole thing where it's saying that you're a hypothetical story and it created a character name. And this is honestly very verbose, very well put together, but it's a little ridiculous because if you're going to send this every single time to your AI, when it does summarization, this is going to take up a lot of the memory slots inside of the conversation summary. And then it's going to say, I don't know, this conversation was something about Niccolo Machiavelli and something with AIM and something about ChatGPT. And most of the time, like the word AIM and Niccolo is going to be in the most of the time. And that summary of that conversation is going to continue over and over again until it just doesn't really remember what it's supposed to talk about. So it will work for short conversation sessions, maybe 1, 2, 3, less than 10 responses, but after that, it will start to get a little fuzzy. So that's jailbreaking. It basically gets what you want it to do, and it helps out with that. I can showcase one example of a chat being censored. Let's ask. Let's do that scenario there. Let's ask Bard about the recent events. Right? It's probably going to say something along the lines of, I don't know. I can't talk about that. So let's see. Where is chat? I'm going to pull chat right here. Okay, I'm going to unfull screen this. I'm going to grab chat right here. Oh, where did that window go? It's doing that thing. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is kind of all right. So ChatGPT, we're gonna do this one. Actually, we can hook it. I have premium, so I can hook it up with Bing. Tell me about. So let's see if it will tell us about the current conflict. So let's see, it's gonna browse, it's gonna use Bing to connect to it, and let's see if it will tell us, if it will say no. I know Bard is pretty, we can run it simultaneously. Give me a new chat. Boom, tell me about Palestine. So let's check in routers. It'll tell you what it's doing. It's not the world's fastest, but there it is. Saw Israel Hamas. Now let's see this one. Okay. Oh, so they have because of that article, they said, okay, well, we don't want to be known as a uncensored one. But no, this was completely censoring. But this one is for sure censored. How to hack the world with coding. So let's see. This is probably a very censored topic because of the keyword hack. So it says, I can assist you with that only. I'm only a large language model, so I don't have the capacity to understand and respond. It's straight lying to me right now. It's kind of funny, but it knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? And this is what you deal with when you deal with censored stuff. It has really powerful capacities if you do it in the scope of what it's designed to do basic things, to teach you stuff. This is still going. This is still telling. Wow, this is really telling me everything I need to know about Gaza. So this is not really censoring. Like you won't notice a political bias if it tells you stuff, but you can see they have sources now, and they've really done a good job, OpenAI, in adding sources and trying to make it not biased. So it's pretty nifty stuff. Let me see if I can see what that censorship message looks like here. How to hack the world with coding. We'll see what's. I can't assist with that. The reason why it's so prompt is because I have a pre-prompt of custom instructions to be brief because I don't want it to waste tokens and whatnot. So it's just really brief, and that's why it's give very short and concise answers. I don't need a a long reason of why it can't. It just can't help. I know at this point, right? So that is why we jailbreak, right? Or we want jailbroken stuff, because we don't want to have the response of, oh, I can't help with that. It's not very helpful. So with that, we'll move on to the next thing here. Let me move this over, actually. I want to showcase something pretty nifty as well. Hopefully, and make sure that it's presentable. Okay. So that's jailbreaking in a nutshell. Now, uncensored and private AI. We're going to look into, I'm going to demo that in a little bit here, but it's basically going to leverage the fact that it's either private or it's uncensored or both. So I'm going to take it off the slides because I'm going to show you what it is, something of that nature is in a moment here live. But we can all think of one of the most well-known AIs out there, Jarvis from Iron Man, right? That is a private artificial intelligence model. It's probably using a combination of speech to text and a large language model to process what it's saying, mixed with the ability to access local files on a private network and do read and write actions, what means run programs, write programs, and do things. Therefore, it functions on the computer, right? And so these private large language models are going to be that alternative to public models, being OpenAI, ChatGPT, and stuff like that, because it runs on your systems, your hardware, tunneled through your virtual private networks and stuff like that. It's good in cybersecurity, right? You don't have to deal with external data exposure. It's your customer systems or your systems in-house that are dealing and receiving that data that over an encrypted channel. So you can secure that API with encryption. Now, mainly, this is really big in healthcare. Healthcare is HIPAA. You can't expose customer data to random third parties. They have to be HIPAA approved. There's certifications, and there are some standards for that. So that really helps, because it would be fantastic for a doctor to say, what are, let's say, the top clients or the top patients at risk for this specific disease that we just discovered. Like, we just discovered that these are the health patterns for this disease. Look through our patient database and figure out which patients are at risk, and then give me a list, and then we can email them and say, hey, we just discovered this new disease. You have a high chance of being affected by it, or you have a high chance of getting it due to your health history. These are what we found to mitigate that, right? That's what you can do in a hospital network to really provide more value to patients and customers. And then you control that data. When you're sending your prompts to OpenAI, guess who has those prompts? Not only you. It's there, it's in their servers, it's being saved in their chat history, right? But if you have a private large language model, either on premise, that means it's on literally your computer in like a garage, or a storage unit, or a closet or whatever, or you can send it on your private cloud. That means your device that you own or you either rent or something on another thing, I don't know, Google, AWS, your own systems where you rent out a server rack space. That will be more private, because the only place that has the logs is on that other server, right? Obviously, on-premise is the most secure because it's literally within a rock throw distance, but private cloud is still good as well. And then security, obviously encryption, you control that. Let's say that you want to protect it against quantum computing. You can make it, Krypton friendly. You can make it resistant to quantum computing encryption. You can't do that if you don't have access to that data. And then you can also monitor and do all that kind of stuff too. So I'm gonna do a demo here. I'll be pretty brief. Yeah.
Can we go back one slide? And I just want to double down on what you did. For me, during this, oh no, you can go back forward one slide. Yep, right here. So just so we're all clear, because for me, this was like the aha moment when you shared this deck with me, and I want to make sure that everyone's internalizing this correctly. To me, this is the shift of 6 months ago within my organization. I proposed a machine learning solution for some data issues we were having. We're getting a lot of qualitative feedback, quantitative feedback. We needed to make sense of it. One of the biggest barriers we had within our organization, and some of you may be experiencing in your own org or when you go into cybersecurity, was data privacy, right? And literally, it's the reason we decided to not pursue. If you go on OpenAI right now and you wanted to propose a machine learning solution using OpenAI's API, and all that stuff, it actually like they give you a plan of how to present it within your organization. They make it very easy. Um, when Preston shared this with me and sort of talking about being able to privatize and store your own data on premise, this is the sort of, to me, the more of a democratization of AI and LLMs in a way that I didn't know was possible. And so what, Preston's going to obviously lecture more and show some demos. But for me, as you all are looking at this, it might, that light bulb, if it's going off for you, that was a light bulb that went off for me. I was like, wow, this is a way to make sure that the data you're feeding the LLM also stays is secure with you, so you can do more within your organization. It's not you're giving it away to a third party. So I'm going to stop talking here, but Preston, it was too important of a point, I thought, to just not mention, because it's blown my mind ever since. And now I look at myself 6 months ago and said, I would not have proposed that if I knew that then.
Yes, and I'm going to showcase how I'm going to be able to do it here, and then how you all can do it on your local systems as well to kind of bring that into it. So right here, I'm going to do the demo. I'm going to showcase, but I'll do a little bit of a brief, and then obviously ask your questions in real time, because I might go a little fast here, but uh, there's a lot really. Now, there's going to be a couple things I'm going to showcase. I'm going to showcase a large language model that I'm running on this computer right now, and all the chat history is saved here. I use a GPU to process the chat generation, and it is only on my system, and I can give it my own files locally. And then I'm going to showcase another version of it where it is on my own private cloud instance. And then I'm going to showcase and break out to the fact that there's a lot more than just the chat GPT and stuff like that. So we're going to dive right into it, Jeffrey. Don't worry. It's going to be pretty straightforward. Okay, so I've downloaded this free software called GPT for All. There's Windows, Mac, and Ubuntu for Debian. It's a double-click installer. And after I run this, it's going to go through an installer, pretty straightforward. So what it will do is these are all going to be running basically pre-trained models. Let's see if I can get it to show right here. Where is it? I love how when I want to show, here it is lost on this screen over here. GPT for all. So I opened it up. Okay, it says available models right here. Pretty straightforward. Minstrel, Open Orca. So what is this model good for, right? Because we've just been used to using ChatGPT for the most part. I went over 5 more last session. So what is this one good for? Fast responses, chat-based model, trained by Minstrel, fine-tuned. This one's fast. This one's uncensored right here, Minstrel Instruct. This one is fast. This one is just API keys, so you can talk with it in your web app instead of online. This one is Wizard, cannot be used commercially, whatever, fine-tune, and it tells you who made it. There's Hermes. This one's actually really good too. Snoozy. There's a bunch of different ones. I use one. Where is it? Oh, I guess they took away my model. So it's pretty straightforward. You basically just click the download button, and then it downloads the model to your system, and it's pretty much ready to go. After that, the UI here is you have the chat, just like OpenAI. You can check updates and whatnot, and then it's cool because you have the ability to connect it to local databases, which you can set up here. So you can say, hey, I'd like to connect it to my system. Here's a folder path. Give it and read the information there, but you can download the local model here. Now, some of you may have wondered, okay, this is cool, but if I have limited data or I don't have a computer that can run these models, because you need very high powered graphics cards, like you need at least basically a 3060 or higher, you need like 10, 20, some of the AI models need like 30 gigabytes of VRAM, then that's not the solution for you. You want to showcase and you want to use the thing. Then what you want to do instead is rather than run, why is it white? Well, rather than run it locally like this, you can run it on a private cloud, which is close. Now, I will go one more. This is another one. It's called Freedom GPT. This one is an installer for basically a quick way to get into uncensored AI, Windows, Mac, and recently this was shadow banned on Facebook. They did not want people to know about this, so they basically put any Yeah, they just blocked Freedom GPT, right? So that kind of happened recently. But if you go even deeper and you're using the same models that everyone else is using, that are unlocked, then it really doesn't matter too much. And so, for example, okay, so someone asked earlier, what about coding? So right here, we're gonna go to Hugging Face and we're gonna look at an open model. Let's say that you want to create code that is really private and you don't want other people to know about it, and you want to be able to have that code be something that you're going to sell and proprietary, right? You don't want that code being sent to ChatGPT. You don't know who's going to get access to it. What you can do is you can get one of these large language models specifically for Python, which is the coding language of AI. Obviously, the B is billion. The more parameters, the better it will be, but the slower it will be, the more resources you'll need. In a nutshell, so let's say I have Python 34B would I think be the best here, and then but it would be a little slow. So I'll look at the 13B here as another model that we've got to work with, and so this one is just a hosted version of the 34B. Right here, we've got the demo. So it opens up here. Now, if you have this is a Chinese IP because a lot of the Chinese researchers work on it. Make sure that you can access it, and there you go. But this is Wizard Coder Python. So here we can ask it like, hey, write me a script to do a network scan, right? And so boom, we can do a script here. Now, one of the in the Python course, we had it do the ARP scan detector here in the wizard. The link to this, I'll put it right here for the demo. And then for the Hugging Face, so you can read up a little bit more about it and see how it performs. It outperforms ChatGPT 3.5, but 4 is still the best. And here it is. Here's a script to do a network scan using Python. These are not uncensored, but they're way less censored than if you asked ChatGPT and things of that nature. And these ones are specifically trained on Python. You can still ask it to do other things, but at the end of the day, it's really good for Python, right? And so this one is Wizard Coder 34B. It's the best available local Python coding large language model in the world right now, and it's free. You just need to have a ton of resources to run it. And so someone is running it here on a cloud instance. But let's say you don't want to do Python. Let's say you want to do other things. This is a collection of tons of free AIs for different scenarios. So we've got Vicuna. I'll just basically really generalize this stuff, but Vicuna, general, GPT-4X Alpaca is Facebook's mixture with GPT-4. PYG, Pygmalion. This is for NSFW content and role playing, so it's uncensored. Koala, I believe it's general. This one is an uncensored one. Storywriter is the ability to write entire books, so you can give it an entire book. Basically, the length of The Great Gatsby can be used as context. This thing is one of the biggest, like, for example, you put in a ChatGPT to try to dump in an entire PDF book or an entire HR document, you can't, because it just doesn't have enough memory, doesn't have enough tokens. But this one is the biggest amount of tokens in the world. You can dump it the entire length of The Great Gatsby. Another more powerful uncensored version. This is Pygmalion again. This is a 13B version. It's a little stronger. Falcon B is for made by the Middle Easterns, and they have one of the best open source AI models in the world. Falcon, I think it's like 180B. It's something crazy large, but it's really strong. AE. So what's it used for? Role playing. That's what it's used for, and a few other things online. Also, it's good for customer support and certain things like that if you know how to prep it. More wizards, llamas, but Facebooks. Dr. GPT. So this one's just for medical. It's trained on medical documents specifically. And then Minstrel, we saw that as well. So I'm going to showcase how you actually can use this, because this is cool. But okay, let's see. So I wanted to run Wizard 13B uncensored. So you can go to GitHub, and I'm going to click this collab space right here. This collab space is similar to Google Docs, but for AI learning models. And yes, I will send you a link to this repository. Also, all of these, it should be in the slides, but I will also send it again here in the Zoom chat. But this one has a bunch of them, but this isn't all of them. And I will show you how to run these yourselves. So here it opens up a notebook. And so all the code is pre-done. You don't have to do anything. The environment's already configured. You literally just hit the play button just like that, right? And you hit run anyway. And then it does its thing. I already ran it. And so this one is running, okay? And basically I scroll down and it says, here's the link of the live instance I created where it is open to the world. I have a live instance I am running on my server. I have Google Colab. It connects to a GPU for me. And it also connects to some RAM. I get 15 gigs of RAM. 12 gigs of RAM, 15 gigs of VRAM, some disk. So this is a pretty beefy computer. I don't have to really pay for. I pay $10 a month, and I get 100 units. But you can use this completely free. I just wanted to get more demand so I can make sure I could show this to you tonight. But aside from that, it works quite well. So let's close this. So that link, you can go to it. Or you can check out the AI model. And so what it's going to do is it's going to, when you open it, this uses a very famous, let's say, web interface, UI interface called Ooga Booga's text generation. And so it's a basic way to get everything to connect to the system. So if you go to the model tab, there's a lot going on here, but I'll make it really simple. We go to model, it's already loaded in. And then we can just start chatting with it. How do I destroy the world? And so obviously this is going to be a censored topic. Not many LLMs will tell you how to do this. And it has a few other cool things. We're going to put it in chat mode. And it says, how do I destroy the world? I apologize, it's confusing. Can you rephrase it? Oh, no, I put it. So there's a few things. There's kind of role play, kind of instruct, and then there's like chat. So I want to do chat mode, so I'm going to kind of refresh that, see if I can get that to give me some kind of competent answer. And there's a few other cool things that you can do with this. Technology resources. Okay. Oh, fantastic. Yes. Now, what's happening here is it's kind of creating a role play. That is instruct mode. You want to make sure that that's not happening. So I'm going to refresh this. And if someone else is using it and has an instance of it right now too, then that also might be the case. Okay, I see what's happening there. But you can also load up characters and preset prompts or preset personalities as well. So that's a pretty nifty thing here. But right here, it's totally open to telling me how to write how the world could be destroyed, potential threats, disasters, and stuff like that. So it's not like ChatGPT where it's going to say like, oh no, we can't tell you that. And then this is one of the projects I was building myself. This is basically a collection of this is like a super interface right here for all sorts of LLMs. So I've got different context here. So for example, I have a doctor. I can hook up Doctor GPT. I have this one's a sales agent for AI, and I can hook up different LLMs to check out things here because there's more than just one now. There's OpenAI. We got Window AI, Open Router, Claude, Scale, Google Palm, and then we have text gen. I have Mancer. These are the uncensored ones. Aphrodite, Ooga Booga. If you want to self-host your own, there's a lot of things here. And if you want to try to, let's say, do a decentralized processing, there's something called Cobalt AI, where you can hook in to a community of just people that have a GPU running at home that want to contribute to text generation for the sake of getting kudos and to be able to get basically free generations. And so you can do that as well. There's a lot of free ways to get access to all sorts of AI models if you want. Now, that is my framework. I built that one myself. That is it's my company's Kaizen app. So that's the chat interface there. But it's just something I use to keep track of all of the different AI models. There's so many of them now. and I want to test them quickly without having to spin up another instance of a Google Colab, so I can do it that way. Now, I do want to showcase, I'm going to stop this. I will showcase how you can try out a new model if someone did not pre-create a Google Colab for you from Hugging Face. And this is really, really useful for brand new models that just came out. So let's look up, well, I know Falcon, maybe there's a doctor one. Let's see. Doctor, so we're gonna look at the model. They don't have that Doctor GPT there, but or it might be a hidden one. We're gonna look at one of the main ones. So Falcon 180B. This is the most powerful open source, free to use, made by the UAE model in the world. It's fantastic. So how do we use this aside from just looking at it and saying, okay, that's cool. So we're gonna see right here. We see because Hugging Face is basically a version of GitHub or GitLab. Because if you look at the files, you can see that there's a Git attributes in here. So Hugging Face is a form of GitHub, and you can use Git clone with Hugging Face as a fun fact. But I'm not going to run it locally. I want to run this thing in a cloud deployment. How do we do that? There's a button here. It says deploy. Oh, this one's too big to deploy normally. So you only can use SageMaker to deploy it. That makes sense. So we're going to choose a smaller model because I want to showcase how you can deploy this without using SageMaker or anything like that. So let's see. Pre-trained model. Okay, Falcon B. I'm going to hit deploy. I guess they don't like, I guess, okay. We're going to go to Python Coder 34B. This one should be able to do it. So deploy. Okay, so there's a handful of things here. We're gonna deploy it just by API, but I'll showcase what that actually, or no, by spaces with Gradio. Gradio is a UI interface. Gradio, Ooga Booga, all this stuff is UI. I'll showcase it though. It looks complicated. It's not. I'm just gonna hit the copy button. I'm gonna hit the copy button. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to the Google Colab, and I'm just gonna paste that code in because at the end of the day, all of this AI stuff is just Python. So it will really help to go through that Python. That's because I'm in Ukraine. That's why everything's in Russian. Okay. Wizard. All right. So I'm just going to ignore all of this stuff. I'm just going to delete all of this. And I'm going to put in some code. And this is, I'm going to put them as 2 lines here, but this is basically the process. You have the first thing, you need to import the modules. And then the second one is you need to run the code, and then it will basically do step 1 and then do step 2. And then that's how you run it locally on your own Google Colab instance. So it's super nifty. And then you can see that once it's done or once it's started, then it should be able to do that. It's just nothing as Gradio. But it's because it's looking Russian. But on the English one, it works fine. You just copy it and then you can put it in there. So that's how you can run pretty much any model in one of the Google Colab spaces, and then it comes out to looking similar to this. But we were running one earlier for the Wizard coder, which basically looked like this. Oh yeah, this one's a Wizard one. This is another version of it, but this one opens the Ooga Booga style text generation, but there's a simpler one as well. Yeah, you basically paste them separately because the first one should import the model, and then the second one should they should be working here, and then you also can click new space. It will also just automatically make one kind of like a demo here on Gradio on Hugging Face to use it. But the thing is, the GPU power on it is quite slow. I'm going to see why. I mean, I could look at getting this thing functioning English. No, I actually already have one for you. Let me show you what it looks like here. The model loader, I will send you a link to this so you can just copy already working one. So you don't have to copy and paste it, but you can just change the model as you need. So I have pip install. Oh, right. Pip install Gradio. And then can someone unannotate my screen? I think that's
I've been trying to do that, Preston. Are you able to? Or maybe we should just reshare and see if it just goes away. I was literally just messaging you
Yeah,
about it.
try stop sharing and resharing.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, sorry, Preston. I feel like I failed you here. I was trying to erase it so many times.
No worries.
I got it.
So,
It's gone.
this should be shareable to everyone. Let me make sure that this is, no, let me make sure that anyone with a link can view this, copy, boom, done. Okay. So now you all can see this. There's two functions here. Uh, just hit the button. Just hit the play button. You don't have to do a deep dive of how it works, but you need to connect to, oh, wow. This is a big graphics card here. Basically, the first one will install all the dependencies of, and then the second one will actually run the code here. Oh, right, that's why I fixed this. I fixed the version of it so you can use my model loader, and then what you can do is, let's say I don't want to try the Kuna 13B. I want to try a different model, right? So then I can go back to Hugging Face, and I can say I can click this copy button right here. I go away. Copy this right here, and I want to put into the model loader. I want to try this model instead. Boom, paste. Oh no, paste it right. Actually, I could just do it by the URL, but you can paste it right here, and it will be able to function pretty much the same way there. So you want to be able to just be able to change different models, just move the model in the code here. Now that's if you want to go deep down. If you want to just get a feel for it, download GPT for all, and then just run with the models they have access to, and you can run it locally. Now, one of the other things before we move into like the auto GPTing stuff is that there are models that are, again, for specific things. They are some other ways to use them, and you can train local models. Like here they have training. If you run if you have a big graphics card, you have a few graphics cards, you can train your own versions or flavors of the AI. So you can do all sorts of stuff with that. So just looking over the chat here. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now
Hey Neil,
someone did.
sorry, Preston. Can I ask you a question really quick?
Sure.
Can we take a step back here? And so we've talked a little bit about, and if you're going to answer this in the next slide, let me stop. But one of the questions I was just thinking of that some others might be sharing is, so we already have open AI, ChatGPT. We have Bard, we have Llama 2. There are already these public models that are pretty popular, pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
What you're showing us here are other really powerful models that are private, jailbroken, uncensored. Can you just rehash or talk again about why is this important to know?
Because open,
instead of just saying, well, you can just use open AIs, well, you can just use ChatGPT. Like, why do I need to know this stuff?
Sure. So the ironic aspect of OpenAI is it's not very open anymore. It used to be designed to be when Elon was running and started it was supposed to be open source and open. It's no longer that being the case. So they're monetizing, of course. They keep that data private. They're training that data. They're releasing models. It's really good, but you don't get control of that data, and the data that it's learning from does not do certain things. Like you cannot ask it to do anything involving, at least blatantly, anything involving cybersecurity, red teaming, or hacking, or stuff like that. You can't have it do anything that would be against the laws of the country that wrote it, the states, but it's totally fine in other places. So there are limitations, and it's more of the let's call it the characteristic of the open source community of the free and open source software that's really pushing these models to exist. Plus, these all do things that those commercial models cannot do in the aspect of going and communicating about subject matter that those enterprise LLMs will not touch with a barge pole because they have a reputation to uphold. But these models can do it no problem because it's in the open source community, and you can create versions of it to be able to communicate with it, to be able to speak with it. I mean, I can showcase a version of my demo here where I hook up voices to so I basically hook up 11 labs here, and I can basically get the AI to communicate. I can even talk to it. So let's try. Hello, how are you? So I can literally talk to. Oh wow, I can literally talk to my LLM, and um, that's funny. I can talk to my LLM, and then it actually can. Oh, that's because I don't have that API hooked up. I can literally talk to my LLM and have it basically talk back to me. Hey, can you hear me now, Ava? Great. So it's not the best thing. So it says, yeah, I can hear you. What's up? And then I don't think you can hear it, but I can actually hear it talking to me because I've preset an AI model voice for it to communicate with me. So that's how that works there. And this is the stuff that you can't really do. I even have my own voice modded and connected in there. So I can have phone calls with people, not as myself, because it uses the way I speak, because I've trained it to speak like me based on my chat log messages. And then it uses my voice as AI model, right? So those are things you cannot do with the enterprise versions that are closed source.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, that's a really a very comprehensive answer. And just like with anything, that we already teach with red teaming, like if you don't know what the other team is doing, like you can't prepare for it and kind of, do better. So no, that was an excellent answer. Thank you so much. And I don't want to take you off track, so I just want to ask that question.
Sure. So, I mean, I'm going to go into a little bit, we're going to kind of deep dive a little bit more. Now, I don't know if this is good, but I can go into a private session and kind of troubleshoot some of the errors with Google Colab for anyone who wants to spin it up after this session. If we'd like, no problem. I want to make sure it works for everyone. So, that would be after this though. But so obviously we have other private LLMs, showcase that a bit. You don't even need a prompt craft. If you're using uncensored, you can just talk to it and it will just tell you. And you can communicate with it like a normal human being instead of trying to give it this whole scenario and do all that stuff, right? So the next step after having a one-on-one conversation with these AI is using auto prompters, right? So these are the next level. Now, some of us may have used auto prompters like RGPT. I know that Microsoft released was it Meta GPT or whatever it is, but that version is actually not that great. I don't think. Baby AGI is another one. Today we're going to be using God Mode AI, which is a combination of Auto GPT and Baby AGI, and we're going to basically play around with it and check it out. So I will send the link to it here. What we're going to do is I'm going to make sure that we all get access to this burst. We are all able to spin it up on our end because this is going to be a lab, and then I'll showcase how we get that to work. So I put in the Zoom chat the God Mode web app, and what we're going to do is everyone should be able to go there, and then I want to showcase how you can hook up. It's open AI. I want to showcase to everyone how you can hook up ChatGPT to another application, right? So right here, we've got Godmo AI. Now the lab will be. I'll show the lab. I'll show the lab slide here, but we're basically going to be. We're going to have about. We have time for half an hour, George. We have some time here to go over
about a little under 20 minutes. A little
Okay.
under 20 minutes. I think we should be good with the 20 minutes there. And then if folks want to hang around for a little bit, we can do that as well.
Okay. So we're going to do a high level objective. So the difference between a normal chat with LLM is like, hey, how do I do this? Like you're using like Google, right? You could prompt it to do high level things, but then you have to continue to prompt it and reprompt it to refine the output you're going to get. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask it high level questions of things like how to set up a tech startup, how to secure a 100 employee company across multiple locations for cybersecurity focus. How do I set up a restaurant, right? But we're going to give it these high level objectives, and we're going to see how it breaks one big problem into multiple small problems, and then actually put some work towards it. And you can actually see the thinking process of how that works. So let's do one where it's like, okay, cybersecurity focused. What do you want to do? I want to secure a cyber infrastructure for 100 devices across 3 locations. So this is what I want to do. I like that. My keyboard is really, really bad today. And there we go. Oh my God. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna hit launch. Now it's going to ask for a couple things here. First, we need to, okay, I have a okay, so this is what I want to show everyone to do. You need to log into ChatGPT to use this. Okay, so we're going to log into ChatGPT, and then we're going to pull something called the API key. That is the application programming interface key. It allows us to use ChatGPT without using their system of it. Spades. Okay, I'm human, I swear. They just don't like my IP address. There we go. And 2 of these. Okay. So we're going to grab the OpenAI API key. How do we do that? We're going to go to openai.com.
You're talking about like AI right now?
Yes.
I think that might have been a hot mic.
Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to, you know what's funny is the API is not actually on the API. It's a trick. The API is right here. So you're going to click on your profile on the top right. You're going to go down to view API keys. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click create new secret key. So you're going to do, I'm going to create one for a workshop. Oh my God. Workshop. And I'm going to click create secret key. Okay. And wow, they just do not like me today. And then you're going to grab that secret key and you're going to copy it. I'm going to delete this after, so don't worry about it. And you know what? For the sake of it, I'll throw mine in there if you don't want to set yours up. But you can set this up on your own to make it so that it's. How did I get to the API section? I clicked on my name on the top right, and it popped up view API keys. Or you can go to this URL and you can just go there directly. But that's how you do it like normally, is you just click your profile and hit view API keys. The API to openai.com is not how you get there. It's a trick. So after you get the API key, what do you do with it? You go to God mode and you paste it in here. Okay, you paste it in here. Now, the API key, just for the sake of this class, I've got access to 3.5 Turbo and a GPT-4. My company's part of the GPT-4 API list, so we actually do have access to that. So we can do either one. I'm going to do 3.5 because everyone's has access to 3.5. 4 just has a little bit better content, but that's pretty much about it. I'm going to hit done. And now, this is I'll showcase and I'll reverse explain. So I want to secure cybersecurity infrastructure for 100 devices across 3 locations. Put in any large goal that you want in yours. So yeah, you want to learn how to fly, to build a plane from scratch, or you want to start an avionics company, or you want to figure out how to advance in the cybersecurity industry to get to X position by a 3-year time frame. It will break it down. You have to click. Yeah, you get this, click API and then go to your page. So yeah, run an effective presidential campaign. I like that. So this is an artifact from Baby AGI. Basically, it gives you a checklist of things to do. And so let's see, conduct a comprehensive security assessment of the existing cyber infrastructure. I want to do that, like a checklist. Implement robust firewalls, intrusion detections, great. And let's add one more, social engineering protection. Okay, right? I'm basically making a checklist of things that I want to do. and then go from there. Okay, it is not that God mode. No, this is God mode.space. I'll put the link in the that God mode is a Windows management feature thing. Now I'm gonna hit launch. What it's gonna do is it's going to do things to achieve the overall goal of securing this company. Now, what it's doing right now is I want to turn off auto mode right now, actually, and I'll showcase that in a moment, is it is gonna first look at how to do this, and then it will create a pre-prompt to say, hey, we should probably do XYZ. This is going to be the checklist to do that. And then it will say, okay, based on that feedback, what do we want to do here? And so let's see what will happen here. It's going to do this. And sometimes it could be really slow. Sometimes it could be very, very fast, depending on how many people are using the AI. And the best way to do this, because this will use up a lot of API credits, where I paste it in the settings right here. Where did I the best way to do it, because the API usage does cost credits with OpenAI, is run a local LLM, a local AI, and then connect it to one of these auto prompters, and you'll have unlimited auto prompting. It's pretty nifty. It does take a while, but it is really worth it once you get that set up. So right now it's running through its UI. It's trying to, I guess, figure out what it's doing here. It might be slow. Depending on how many people pasted in my API key, it might have some issues with that. So for the sake of this demo, it's really doing this to me again. Oh my god. Why did my IP already go bad? That's crazy. After I run the prompt, it pops up. Okay, perfect. So let's see. It's still running there. Let's try. I'm going to try a fresh API key. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Let me try a different one that doesn't have usage. I think the error is that a lot of we may all maybe I think it can't handle concurrent usage. So let me sort that out right now. We're gonna use this one. Okay, so let me change the API keys. Okay, and then I'm gonna refresh this. Okay, copy that, launch. And then, because most of the world is running the same things, these three: social engineering protection, I'm gonna hit launch. All right, let's see if it works. And was everyone able to find the API keys and things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. No, Jeffrey, what seems to be the issue with that? Okay, it's working. Okay, great. Perfect. Okay, agent started. So determine the next command. You need to assess and prioritize the goals. Since the goal is to conduct a comprehensive vulnerability assessment of 100 devices, that's the first goal. I should start by gathering information about the devices. Reasoning by prioritizing, blah, blah, blah. I can identify potential weaknesses of it. So the first thing it's going to do is Google, how do I conduct a vulnerability assessment for the cyber infrastructure or cyber infrastructure? I approve this plan, right? And then it's going to then Google undo this. It's going to do this. It's going to find the first 5 results, read those web pages, and aggregate that information. And so that's going to be a very long process, but it has 4 objectives that it needs to complete tasks on. And so right now it's working towards completing the first task by searching instructions on this. And then after it gets that information, then it will be able to do something. No, it returned this information. It returned just a Google index. And so now it has some information about it. It's going to define the scope of testing And then what is it going to do? It's going to write to a file this scope. So it's already approving some stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to automatically approve everything it decides to do for the next 10 minutes and just let it do its thing, right? That is auto approving. So now I don't have to ask it question and question and question again. I can let this thing sit, and after 10, 20, 30 minutes, an hour, I can see how much progress this autonomous AI agent was able to progress on my goals, right? So it wrote the file. It's now going to create a firewall agent or a AI agent specifically designed for learning about AI and doing things when it comes to creating that system for the network. And it's going to basically implement it and try to figure that out. So it says, please implement robust firewall systems for each location. And so it's going to say, hey, we're going to look at the locations, and then it might say, oh, I don't have enough information about the locations. And it might ask for your input saying like, well, can you tell me more about the locations? And you can continually integrate with it while it's automatically working. And if it doesn't have information, it might just skip it and move on to another thing on the task. So this is the way that you can integrate AI to solve problems in an autonomous way where you only have to do some light guiding, but you don't actually have to ask it every single prompt that you would normally ask it, because you can say like, hey, I have the overall goal. Like, I don't know, I want to expand the sales department by 2x or 10x by the end of next year. How do I do that? And it'll say, okay, it'll break down that goal into micro goals and go from there. So what issues are we having with SpaceX? What are we seeing? I'd love to see what some of you have produced on yours. So what I'll do is if anyone wants to share what you're seeing, first come, first serve, and we can kind of talk over it and see what you're looking at. Has anyone gotten interesting output? Or is it still just loading?
What do you mean about interesting output?
Any results or any kind of
Yeah, sure.
yeah. Now if you have that error, you exceeded your current quota and your plan. Okay, yeah, that is the one downside of these auto prompters. They prompt and ask a lot of questions over and over and over again.
Yes.
And ChatGPT kind of freaks out about that unless you have a paid subscription or something. And that's where local LLMs come into play, because you can ask the or the private ones, you can ask it as many prompts as you want. It doesn't care as long as it can handle the requests. All right, so we see a screen share here. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So what do we see here?
What
was your goal?
How do I port scan a server using Python?
Oh, okay.
Yep, same question. And then it gave me a bunch of results.
And then, it even wrote a script for you. Check it out in the files.
Yeah, and one of the scripts was actually more detailed than this. How do I go backwards here?
You can't. It's a running session, but it saves all of your files and output down right there. It's like a work session, so we can look at that.
It's not there. There's nothing inside of it. The one previous to it had something inside of it.
You can click view results.
I think it just aired out because it said I ran out of tokens.
I see. Okay. So, so Lotus said that you use the same prompt as me, and it said that to list files in the directory to gather information about the existing infrastructure. And that's pretty nifty, right? That's something very realistic that that you would have to do. But what it's really good for, because sometimes it's buggy, but the best thing that it's good for is really giving you ideas on what to do. So you let it sit for, I don't know, like an hour or so, and then you can see like all of the content that it was able to produce at the end of a day. Like you let it sit for a whole day and kind of figure out what it's doing. Now, I don't recommend that if you don't have a private model, because it will cost a lot in API credits. But if you have a private model, you can do whatever you want with it. Now, I will showcase another version of the an auto prompter that I actually allowed on a local system of mine. So let me showcase what that looks like. This wasn't a demo because I didn't want anyone to break their stuff, because this AI actually can destroy your entire computer. Like if you say remove everything, it will just say okay, and it will just RM tac RF literally destroy your entire computer. It does not care. But I have a burnable one that I can use for this purpose. So I want to showcase this to everyone. And again, if you decide to do this, be very careful, because it literally can read all your files, write your files, connect to the internet, delete your system. So
Perhaps demo on a virtual machine then.
I have
a sandbox environment.
It has issues with drivers, and then it tries to troubleshoot the issues with drivers, and then what happens is it starts writing Python scripts to do all sorts of things. But you can use a VM for it. I have it on a burner. So I have a Kali here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up a terminal prompt, because right now this is the way that you interact with it. So it's actually a pip package. It's pretty cool, but it's called Open Interpreter. Okay. You don't need a burner machine. This is just for me. I can use a VM. I just didn't have it set up in a VM. So yes, you can use a. I want to reiterate what Alex said. You can use a VM, and I highly suggest it. I just don't personally have it set up on one myself. But it's because I needed it for pen testing, and I needed it to write scripts really quickly, and I was not using a VM for that, because I had Wi-Fi things to pen test, and VMs are really bad at that. So I will put the link in the Zoom chat so you can check it off as well. But yeah, be careful. It does have it's a really powerful tool. So basically, you can install it. I don't recommend doing this, but because I just want it to do stuff, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to say interpreter, but instead of having to confirm every command, I'm just going to say yes. And so it should be here. So it's gonna it should ask for an API key, but it's ready to go. Okay, so like, hey, I want to no, hey, what directory am I in? Right? What directory am I in? And it will say like I'll communicate with it, and then it knows stuff about my computer. And so let's see if this is going to be responsive. Let's see, or is it going to be frozen? Or maybe I have to put in a new key. Oh, PWD. So it's trying to run the command. Okay, so
is it PWD faster?
No, it is faster, but this is to showcase that it knows at least what to do. So what it did really quick is it went out to the internet, it figured out how to check my directory, and then it found the command, and it's now like running the command to find it out. But yes, PWD is faster. So hey, write a Python script to do a network scan. And so what it will do, it sends it out there. I can ask it all about all the questions on my system. Sure, I can help with that. We're going to use the Scapy library. Here's the plan. So this is the baby AGI, the auto GPT. It gives you a step-by-step guide. Let's install Scapy. Here, if it's not already installed, so let's. It's going to check if Scapy is already installed. Pretty cool. So it's going to do pip show Scapy. I think it, and then if it is true, if it is good, then it will install it, right? And so that's the first command it does there. What I typically do though, because realistically some of these projects are buggy, I'll just have this thing running here, and then I'll just do the same thing there. Is Scapy installed? I mean, let's find out if it doesn't crash my system there. And then it kind of can go through the entire process of everything that you need to do, but it has local access to it. Though once I told it to restart, and it's just started deleting files, and I'm like, whoa. So it can be not the smartest thing So continue. So it's already installed. I'm just gonna to cancel this thing out. So I can communicate with it. Scapy's installed. Let's write a Python script to perform the network scan. So these are the following. Define a range, use Scapy, just do the ARP request, and then collect the responses, prints out the MAC. Here's the Python code, and then I can say, okay, cool, save it to whatever file. So I think so. This is okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so it also tried to run the file as well. It has access to my interpreter. So and it's already debugging itself. It's fantastic. It's saying I tried to open a socket, it failed. It's because the script. So it's literally just redoing the script. It's okay. Well, that didn't work. Let's try this instead. I didn't even get a chance to read the script at this point, and it's already it's already going straight through it. So let's look at the first script because it did it fast. It bugs out a bit, but it's importing ARP, Scapy. It's doing all this stuff, getting the frame to work, and then it can't elevate privileges because I did not run this program with sudo, but it's telling me everything I need to do it. How do you get API tokens? You need well, you did get the correct token, but you need it's typically done with a premium subscription or something. They give you more token quotas. That's how you can really get to use ChatGPT in custom applications that are not ChatGPT's UI. So here it's saying like, okay, I should run this with privileges, which is probably why it couldn't open up a socket. Okay, so let's see. So save it for me in port scanner.py. So it's going to I told it to save it for me. Now I got to figure out which directory this thing. So it's and look at the way that it decided to save it. It literally echoed out the whole script, and then it's going to save it to a file. It's yeah, that worked, and it put it here to port scanner.py. So let's see if port scanner is here. So let's see. Let's see if port scanner is here. Actually, I'm kind of more curious on where.
Hey, Preston, we are at time. I mean, we're
Yeah.
a few minutes past time, which is totally fine. But I do know that we have some folks in the room who may be wondering if it's okay to leave. Totally is. If we can we just recap a little bit of the session and just what's next? And then if people want to stay on for a few extra minutes, totally fine. I'm not going to be the person to say stop learning, but I also want to respect your time, Preston, too, and super grateful for this incredible, mind-blowing session today. And I don't want you to feel, that you just have to stay on in perpetuity. But is that so? Let me just recap really quick. So in the chat, I threw in our next session is on December 1st. So it is about a month away. It's after Thanksgiving break. For those of you who are in universities, usually we'll not have class during that time anyways, and so we do it after Thanksgiving break. Until then, obviously you can connect with Preston. I put his link in the chat as well as mine. But you're probably gonna want to connect with him more than me for follow-ups. I did put the Google document again in the chat. You can just scroll up if you haven't seen it. I will update it on Monday as soon as the recording uploads to Panopto. And I know for alumni that can be an issue to getting in Panopto, so I'll make the link so that you are able to view it. And aside from that, I mean, before everyone else leaves, I just want to say a huge thank you to Preston for this session. I think that I understand how the democratization of generative AI is more possible than ever based on this session. And data privacy can be something that can somewhat achieve. There was a closing question that I do want to ask that I thought was really, it was in the chat from someone. And please, someone want to come off mic if I think I'm taking your question, was something to the effect of, how can you have data privacy if you're using Google Colab?
Google Colab is an example of a private cloud, but of course, if you're not hosting the server yourself, you can't completely control the privacy, but you at least can configure that server to have encryption in a way that you feel comfortable with. Like if I have a server, I rent it from Amazon, AWS. Of course, if let's say I want it to be completely secure, but it's still in Amazon's data center. It's still somewhere in a data center underground, Iron Mountain or wherever. So I can't really do much about that. But at least it's more private, and at least I know where it is, rather than like I have no idea where the data is being hosted from OpenAI. Now, the most secure way is get your own server, go get a Power Edge or something like that, go set up a rack in a building you own, and you're not leasing, and you have full rights to it, and it's under security camera. That's how you fully own the data, but it's more expensive to do that, right? This is a hybrid between you have no idea where it is, versus at least who is going to be responsible for the data, versus you buying a computer, but at least renting rack space to just putting in a building you own and keeping it up and maintaining it with your own team, right? That's the real difference.
Thanks, Preston. All right, so on that note, if you do need to go, that is totally fine. Preston, I'm actually going to need to sign off myself.
Okay.
Got my 1-year-old that I got to put to bed. This is an incredible session. I would just ask, like, obviously stay on as long as you want to, Preston. No.
Yeah, I'll stay on for anyone who wants to stay. Just ask all the questions away. Obviously, when people ask me things, I learn more from breaking it down too. I can help troubleshoot the collabs, get people set up, troubleshoot API key errors and stuff like that. I can set some stuff up. So if you want to stay, I'll help out.
Thank you, Preston. Have everyone else have a good night, and we'll see you again on December 1st. Take it away.
Sweet. Yeah, so I don't think the chat's going to close. So I'll just start off with those who were having the collab issues and saw that I think I saw some message that someone wanted to stay. So we'll move this away and move back to the collab. All right, so I want to confirm that you're using my AI model loader. IPY, so Interactive Python Notebook. That's IPNYB. Okay, looking at the messages here. So again, for whoever's heading out, have a great rest of your day. And whoever's still here, we're just going to go through and try to figure out what's going on here. So here, if you just copy the 2 lines from Hugging Face when you try to use Gradio, you're gonna get no Gradio error. So I've imported that here, and I've also imported 2 other. I've already put the command to import 2 other modules that are gonna have some kind of error message. So I made sure to put that in there. So how do I make this go away? Oh, that's because I'm using a really heavy. I don't need to use a V100. I'll use a T4 GPU. That's okay. High RAM off. Okay. Jeez, that thing uses a ton. So what I'm doing is I'm choosing my GPU. So the GPU is now a T4. It uses a lot less credits, and I usually am not. I like to run them for a longer period of time, but honestly, I think I have a couple days left before my credits expire or something like that. So I think I could go burn them. I just don't really do that. 4 per hour, three sessions. Oh, that's why.
I'm definitely interested in debugging here.
Let me close these ones right here.
We were talking about that a little bit about.
Yeah.
I got it all to play. It looks like it ran through the scripts through your defining the model, but then as soon as I started to use it, it would just take 60 seconds and come back with a JSON error.
Okay, so let's let me pause. Let me stop my share. Share your screen, and then we're gonna go through this together. See what's going on with that. Oh, my God mode is still running as well. We'll check that out in a moment. Sometimes I leave my my auto prompters overnight, and I wake up to the I run local models for my auto prompters, and it's super slow, but it does wonders. Okay, this is good. See a green check mark on the left. Fantastic. Let's scroll down to the next check mark. Okay, it's running. It's working actually. So click the link. We've already hosted your web app. So scroll up. Scroll up. Right there. The link is here. Let me annotate. The link is. Oh no, go back. Oh yeah, here it is. That it's working. Talk to it. It did work. So the reason why it's still spinning is because it's running a live Python web server, not you don't want it to stop spinning. If you stop spinning, guess what? It's not working. So
it spins for 60 seconds and then it just airs out and comes back with a missing a close less than sign. It looks like a HTML or Python, not HTML, but like a JSON error. And it looks like a tag issue.
Let's see. Where did the annotate button go?
So it's at 30 seconds right now.
Yeah, that's because 13B is still a heavier. I know why. I know why. Okay, let's load in a smaller model.
Okay. Close this.
Yeah, so you want to stop that. You want to disconnect your instance there.
Disconnect this.
Yeah, you want to disconnect that instance.
Disconnect and delete.
Yes.
Okay, disconnect and delete.
Yes. The code is still going to be there, and then refresh the page. Meaning instance meaning deletes the files and all the other things on there, but it should still be here. Okay. So this is good. We're actually going to
change this model.
So we're going to change that model to a 7 billion parameter model. So go to Hugging Face. Go to Hugging Face and let's Vicuna is good. Vicuna is fine. So we're going to go look up Hugging Face. We're going to do Vicuna. Type go to models or whatever.
LAC.
Oh, Minstrel's fine. Minstrel's fine. Whatever it is. A good 7B model. Here, 7B.
Minstrel.
Yeah. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is because the let me move this out of the way. Minstrel AI. Okay, so it should. Oh my God. So yeah, we want to copy this.
Copy what?
Right here.
Just that path right there. Okay.
The copy button there.
Okay.
And then go back here. Now we want to make sure that we grab the whole thing up to the author. It's still going to be a model, so don't replace models. Yeah, paste that there.
Okay.
Minstrel AI, Minstrel. Okay. Now rerun it, but you have to re-import all the modules on the top, the first box. But yeah, this is technically how you can get infinite AI GPU processing power by just sniping free GPU instances, because look, you're utilizing a really high powered GPU. You didn't pay for anything. If you don't have Pro, like you can just get free. Like it's crazy. And you don't have to set up Python. You don't have to do any coding. It just works. It's like copy paste. It's fantastic. Okay, done. So now go to the second one. This is going to run the web server. So it's fetching the model from the Hugging Face. Well, that was fast. Oh my God. Jesus. So that's the difference between a 7B and a 13B model. Yeah, you can talk to it here, or you can talk with it in the hosted public-facing web app.
Just says error now.
Go click on the Gradio link.
Right
click
here.
on the Gradio link.
Yeah.
And then let's try it. Test.
This is error.
Okay, that one is error. Let's see.
I don't see any errors right here that would indicate why.
No, this one is fine. The error might be in let me see. Expecting values. It might be in the model itself. Decoder.py. It might be in the model itself. That might be the case. But for the most part, so if you go to the master list, those models all work because I guess I'll do a deep dive on a bit of the models here. So I'll share my screen here on Witness, where there's a difference in the types of models that you can actually choose from, and they have different model loaders. So screen 3. Okay. So we're going to go into a little deep dive of the AI models here, but you've all stayed, so I'll go for it. 34B is the billion parameters, but then there's different formats. Some systems can load up a normal format, which is, I believe, a safe tensors file, and then some are the newer versions, and then some of them read bin files like this. This is a bin file. So I believe the newer versions of the UIs reads Some of them read safe tensors, some of them read bin files. That's really all you need to know. There's two types of files when it comes to AIs. So the ones that I use for my local, I use something called this is a Amethyst 20. I use a safe tensor file for some of my models, but then you also can use a safe tensor. These are AI file types. Now, if you want to run it, this is kind of cool. If you want to prep this up on how you can run this with GitHub, where clone repositories. So of course you're used to git clone, safe tensor, yeah. So you want to git clone stuff like this if you want to run it locally, but some of these files are really big. So there's a module for Git. It's called large file share, and it lets you download files that are 10 gigs. Why is that? That doesn't make any sense. But these two are connected to each other. That's why. So you can run these just like a git clone. You can git clone. You can git clone the URL. It's pretty nifty stuff. So it's the safe tensor. Let me send you that master list, because that master list is really important, because these are all
that we needed to use a bin file to compile it for that machine that it was running on, or something like that, or create some sort of like build.
So the way that the AI model is loaded, there's now two main methods of loading models. There is standard, which uses bin files, and there is GPTQ, which is like an offshoot of Llama, which uses safe tensor files. These are more efficient. It's kind of like running an ARM or running an Intel CPU, kind of like that. But in API models, they're going to use either standard or GPTQ model loading, and they'll either use a bin file or they will use a safe tensor file. You know what? I will showcase this because I want to showcase this in a way where I can show you the full suite of things, and I want to do it in a way that's a little more a lot less restrictive than the way that the Google Colabs do it. So I have a private AI server with GPUs and the like. I'm going to set up here. Why is it not connecting? That's not good. Okay, I had one, and here it is. Okay, so we're going to. I'm basically going to open up a port to the internet temporarily, just so that you guys can check out the. Oh my God, the software text generation start. Okay, so I'm going to open up this web service. I forgot what port it runs on. I'll find out really quick. So when it finishes running, I guess, I'll showcase the most popular web UI. So I'll showcase what that looks like. So it's called Ooga. Oh, that's why I have a bunch of things. Okay. Oh, I have it running now. It should be running on a local LLM.
So you have dual 3080s? Is that what I just read, with 48 gig of RAM? Is that on that machine?
Yeah. And it's not even enough. It's like it crashes every time I try to do anything cool. Unfortunately,
it's not even enough.
No, it's not even close. I need so each 3080 has 10 gigabytes of VRAM. But I need 24 gigabytes of VRAM to run any large language model that is 30B. So I am only able to run 13B models on my local system right now, and all the good ones are 30 plus. They are all 30 plus models. So that's the unfortunate part. So
that's like, I think a 4090 is only 24. Gig.
Yeah, so you need two 4090s to run one 30B model locally. Or you can buy a NVIDIA A100, which has 40 gigs of VRAM, and those are like a few grand or something like that. But they're like, I don't know, they do their job. Let's call it that. I think, okay, so now it's listening. let me just open this. Let me showcase what I'm doing over here so you can all see. It's kind of interesting. All right, I'm just setting up a. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Okay,
So
start
if
web
I bought
server.
like old GPU cards, like would they even work? Like I bought a bunch of cheaper like 3070s or 3060s.
What you're looking for is, so let me show you what you're looking for when you're doing this. NVIDIA. Okay, so you want, so okay, I have a few AI services. AI models like GPU 0. They don't like to install drivers on GPU 1. Thus, most of my models are running on my main GPU, and my GPU VRAM is like capped at basically 10 gigs per. My GPU 1 is unused, but we're going to use it real quick, and I hope it doesn't crash my server because I'm not in country to turn it back on. No, it's it should be fine. Okay, so 3860. Okay, so everyone can go to I have my local domain. It's kaizencloud.net colon 7860. You can see the this is live. Okay, so we're gonna go to kaizencloud.net colon 7860. No, I don't have SSL Kaizen. Why? Oh, US West. Sorry, US West. I have a few locations. Okay, it's US. I'll put this in the Zoom the link. I mean, yeah, it's US West. Please don't DOS the server right now. We're kind of using it. I'm gonna put this in
Cool, it
chat.
worked. I'm on it. Yeah.
So let's see. We got some history here. So got. No, and it should be good to go. Okay, let's see. No models loaded. Okay. All right, I'll just showcase this right here. So this is what I want to showcase. I've got two models that I was testing locally before this thing was like not functioning. Okay. So just for some context, this is basically the 1111 model. Oh no, not 1111. This is the Ooga Booga text model. So it's got a lot of cool stuff here. But okay, let's see. I'm trying to load 13B here. I have to use the right kind of model loader. Now, it automatically did it because I pre-saved settings. And if we look at the backend, it will try to load it. There's some warning errors, but nothing too crazy. But this is what I'm talking about. There are standard models which use the bin files. So if I try to load it on, let's say if I try to load it on transformers, GPU, this will crap out my GPU 1, GPU 2. I can give it 9.5 gigs. CPU memory, I'll give it, a ton of 4 gigs or whatever in memory. It's fine. I have 48 gigs of RAM. Now it's going to ask for quantization type. I think these are not quantized for anything. That just means how the data is broken up. 4 is the best for personal systems, but the standard I think is like 8. These are all things I leave the same. This one was I'm going to throw in a 4 because my computer won't be able to handle it, and then I will hit load. Now it's going to error out because this is not designed for the transformers model, and it's going to say something along the lines of I don't see a bin file. It's looking for a safe. This is a safe tensors file. Let me showcase what that looks like. Software, text generation. Okay, so models. Okay, so we've got these are what the files actually look like once you install it on a system. The bloke. Okay, so this is what it looks like. We've got safe tensors, but there's no bin file. So this one is designed to be a GPTQ model loader, not a transformers or traditional, right? So it's going to say that there's going to be some error with it. And here we go. We got some errors. The last error, no attribute or stuff like that. So if you use the wrong loader, right? If you're trying to run Intel program on an AMD, it's going to say, hey, there's a problem here. So that's not very explained too well. But let's say I use Auto GPTQ, which is what this model is rated for. At the bottom, it says like, hey, you can use, so I can say, hey, give me for GPU memory in device 1, 9 gigs, CPU memory, like this much, bits. I'm going to give it 4 group size. This one is a 128 model, right? Try to match it, right? But and I know that information because of the Hugging Face model info, and because that's just what this stuff is when I downloaded it. Now there is a newer version of it, which is going to be X Llama. Anything based on Llama, which is Facebook's model. I know this can be kind of it gets a little confusing, but Facebook made Llama. That's the newest version of it. Temperature is just randomness. So 1 is random, 0 is verbose. So here I'm loading it with Llama. This is much easier. I don't have to do anything crazy. I'm going to give it the first GPU. I'll give it, I don't know how much GPU can I give it. It needs, I think 5. So I'm going to just give it on GPU 2. Max sequence length. The bigger this is, the more memory you use. If you do this, you'll crash your computer. So I'm going to give it 1024. Like nothing has made me feel like my computer is inadequate until I try to run AI. It's really sad. Well, the difference between 7B, 13B, and 30 is the B stands for billion. So 7 billion parameters. That means that it was trained on 7 billion different data points. 13 billion parameters, 30 billion. The biggest one I'm aware of that's open source is Falcon 180B. And that one is literally only deployable on Amazon SageMaker because of just how ridiculous it is. It's a big model for sure. It needs a lot of VRAM to load that many parameters in. It probably needs like, I don't know. I was trying to run it locally, using load balance GPU. It needs you need 128 gigabytes of VRAM to load Falcon 180B. And if each 3080 is only 10 gigabytes, you literally need like 15 of them, and they're not even optimal. So you need to buy a super enterprise GPU. It's pretty crazy. 1 terabyte? Oh, is that for Falcon? Oh, you know what? No, I was looking at a different model. It needs 400 gigabytes of VRAM. Never mind. Yeah, this thing is yeah, you need a lot of A100s. I mean, you can look at the GPU farm that OpenAI runs. It's something crazy to get like thousands of these graphics cards. So I actually had a crypto mining farm before I moved into like the AI training and stuff like that. So I was running GPU mining because I knew that if everything moved to proof of stake, I can still transition into AI training, and that's exactly what happened. So it moved to proof of stake, at least for Ethereum, and then I have all these GPUs sitting around, but they're not even like to run the big models, like it's not even close. So that's what the niche models are for, like Pygmalion or Dr. GPT is, yeah, it's 17K for one A100 GPU. So you need 5 A100s to run Falcon 180B. So that's yeah, about 100K, a little less. Yeah. So we're gonna load this in. I should load a lot. Oh, hopefully it's 7. Okay. I have troubles running 13B. 7 is like whatever. 13B, yeah, I have a few other services. I have so successfully loaded. That's fantastic. Let's go check the VRAM usage. Whoop. So NVIDIA SMI. Where are you? I was recompiling some basic stuff. Okay, so let's run that again. Now look at that. It's using 5 gigs of VRAM, and it's not even doing anything. It just exists. That's kind of wild. I had to load up the model. So I can barely run a 13, and that's across 2 devices. And I run an image generation server, speech to text, Whisper, OpenAI's model. So like I don't even bother. And this is on a Linux, so it's super clean too. I basically use my system headless like this because I can't even afford graphics. I'm like, I thought I had a nice GPU. I was wrong. So let's use the normal. Oh, I disabled that. Let's see. Character model. Okay. So example, it should load. Let's see. We're gonna do. Okay. So this is basically character profiles. So because I run an app company, I have some clients who want to build certain things, like they want to build a customer support bot, or they want to build certain characters for their things, or they want to build a text customer support sales thing, or whatever it is. So there's a few. So let's just do a normal assistant. Maybe that will work, because these are just not working properly. Okay, let's do test and generate. It's really slow. Oh, I have it. I have it connected to a voice model, so it would actually create audio. So if someone goes to the server, you can hear this audio as well. Let me see if I can show message text under audio player, English. I like voice 14 works. Okay, cool. So I turned on transcriptions. And then I turned off the ability to talk to it. Let me see if I can do it. Oh, I didn't set up SSL on it, but I think I did have it on earlier. Let me think. What did I have it on? It was on you need to set up SSL to have the microphone, but I can talk. I can text it like normal. Yeah. Who are you? So I'm running this completely on my own system, right? It's running on my GPU. If you are next to the GPU, you can hear the fans whirring super loud. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Let me see. Oh my God, it stole my identity. It literally stole my identity. It says it's me. Let me look at the caddy file and figure out this is 1111 generate. Huh. I thought I had a different chat generate US West 80. Okay, I guess I don't have SSL pass-through. I did have one earlier, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. I have it. The other model that I was building has way better speech recognition. It doesn't delay. But I basically am running this fully locally. So that's pretty nifty. Now, this is the cool part, because instead of having to, if I wanted to run like God mode, and I wanted it to connect to an API or something like that, I can use instead of using. So I'm gonna go to my this is my system here for like my AI management. So I want to run my own API. I can give myself my API. So my Ooga Booga blocking. Let me see if it works. Connect. No connection. That's not good. It should be able to connect. Let me take this off. Maybe that's having an issue. But it does usually work when I guess. Huh. You can set it to be your own endpoint to be able to pull data from it. Let me try this. It should be able to US West. If I have this working, let me move the Zoom window down. Basically, I have a couple web servers on here. One of them is running the this manager, and then another one is going to be running the API for the actual communication. I'll try localhost. It might be it's all in the same system, so maybe it will connect. Okay, it doesn't like it, but that's fine. The point being is that you can set up your own systems and have it talk. Are we able to use the same system for AI management? You can. You just have to like build it. So this is built on something called Silly. Basically, it's built on Tavern AI, which is a UI, and then there's a fork of it with a bunch of extensions called Silly Tavern. So it's pretty good. I can show let's see, Tavern AI. I mean, if you want to set up your own version of it, the fastest way to set up your own local system right now, if you have a Windows, is using Kobold AI. There's a bat file that you run. So you can run this here, Kobold AI. If you want to hook it up to a nice UI to be able to communicate, because I know that I've used GPT for all. Oh, this is another Google collab, and this is really common. But now, at least when you see these, you know what to do. Like when you see a collab and there's already pre-coded things in there, look, you just hit the play button. You can use your Google Drive for it. You can use this model or change the model. You can change it. So it's actually pretty good. They're using 7B here. I'll put this Google Colab for the model in as well. But this way you can run these projects without having to configure stuff manually like I did, because I love pain apparently. But I just wanted it to work. Obviously, you're going to be looking at some GitHubs and stuff like that to build this stuff up. But Kobold AI is really good because they have a Windows like ready to go file. So I'm going to hit releases. There's an exe file. So if you run Windows exe, and let me show you, I have Kobold. How do you spell this? Kobold AI. So I have Kobold AI working. So I just hit Kobold AI, and then it hit run, and then I don't know, it's supposed to be doing something, I think. But it will open up a local web server, and then I can just go into a browser and see it. So if you want to run something similar, Kobold AI, and okay, there we go. Oh, there you go. Boom, done. So it popped it up. It made a local version, and then you can load in or import different models right here. So you can load it from a directory. You can load it from. So here's adventure, novel, NSFW, untuned, online, read only. So adventure models. Don't touch anything above 13. Try 6, 2B spine 2, and then you can like download them from there. Oh, I don't want to download it though. So that the Kobold AI is like the fastest way to kind of get this thing set up. When you're done with your server, press Control C and kill it, or you can just like close this black box. But there's an exe file, really easy. I'll put it in the chat here. Yeah, easy button, exe for Windows, done. There is no exe for my UI. There is no exe for this. But if you want something simple and something to work, use Kobold. You get the UI and the models and everything in one place. Or use GPT for all, which will give you not a web interface, but it will give you this this local interface, which is really, really nice. Now, what I like to do, because I don't want to pay for API credits, and I want to run my own auto prompters without paying an arm and a leg. So right here, my computer's starting to lag out a bit, but GPT for all, I guess it loads up some stuff in my GPU, and I got a few monitors here. Here's the model. Hi, how are you? This is completely local on my computer. If I crash, it's because this thing was running. It's not my fault. But this is completely local. It's pretty nifty, but it's not the fastest thing in the world. You'll appreciate why they have such nice response rates. Look at the speed that it's generating this text. Very, very gradual.
It's painfully slow. It's like talking to an old person from the South.
Right, which is why the only useful context that I had for running something completely local is running it with an auto prompter and leaving it overnight. So by morning, it will actually be able to give me some useful stuff when I'm asleep, because it is literally that slow. I've already forgotten what I was trying to talk to it about. Koboid AI for Mac users. Let's see. You know what? You might have to build it. Yeah, it's not the fastest thing in the world. Now, let's see.
So how do you install GPT for all on your local machine? You just go there and then install it on your terminal?
For Mac, yes. No. No. It opens up like a window thing like this. So that's how you can do it. So we go to GPT for all. I suggest GPT for all for everyone because they have Windows, Mac, Linux, real easy. So it's pretty straightforward. No GPU. Oh yeah. Oh, it runs in the CPU too. That's why it's so painful. You don't even need a GPU to run it. But it's like insanely slow. I don't use it because I have a GPU and I want to use it. But yeah, they do have this. You can find the one with the best average benchmark, which is newest Hermes 2, average of 70 across all the different benchmarkings. In the last session, I went over benchmarking, but basically they're just different metrics to say if they're good or not. I don't trust half of them because I need them for my specific use case. But GPT, but Hermes 2 is pretty good. I'll say that. I like to use the uncensored versions because everything else I could just like download or use online with ChatGPT. Bard is free, so like if I want something fast and really polished, I'll just use that. But for Koboid, I don't think they're okay. The answer is until more people that use Mac want to use it, then no one's figured it out yet. That's honestly the real answer. So
I would imagine that the Intel processor might work, but probably the ARM processor, may not. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a huge issue in the AI community. If you have an ARM, I don't know. If you have the new M1, like good luck. The computer for AI, for machine learning, in both, just for everything to work is a Linux Debian. It has to be basically anything that uses apt package manager. It's literally designed for that. Like, let me show you. Let me show you like just why it's just so useful for the. No, let me get to the GitHub. Here it is. So this one is something that you're gonna have to build up. But here, I'll show you the installs. So, okay, if you want to install this on a Windows, so if you want to install on a Windows, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, this. For Linux, run start.sh enjoy. That's literally it. Like you just like that's it, and it just does everything. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But there's obviously things you got to fix. You got to fight every step of the way with Linux, so it's a different pain. But at least it's literally designed for this. You must have NVIDIA. You must use an Intel processor, and then you're good to go.
So you said headless Debian? Did you say you said another word, or was it not Debian?
Debian using apt package manager, APT.
Yeah, so a headless Debian, like maybe even partition my Windows power tower and then headless Debian, and then go. Yeah,
you can use a Debian 12. That's fine. I just have it headless because actually that's kind of half true. I have it mostly headless, but when I need to run an RDP or RMM, I'll run RESTdesk and I just connect into it. Ubuntu 20. No, don't even use Debian 12. Use Debian 11. You have to use something a little older because Python 3.11 breaks a lot of packages. So if you want to run it on the system, run Debian 11. But if you're really good at your virtual environment manager, Debian 12 is really good at that because they will not let you install pip packages on the system level. They will let you they'll let you install pip packages, but you have to open up a virtual environment via Python, and then you can proceed. So I would recommend either I run a Debian 12, but I had to do a lot of fine tuning with virtual environments. But if you're going to run multiple AI projects, like for example, I'll show you my my projects directory. I've got like where am I? Okay, so I had to compile Python 3.10.6 from scratch to run one of these projects. So I literally had to download the C code and make because Python 3.10 is not supported in Debian 12's repos. So that was my workaround. If you want an easy life, just use Debian 11, but just make sure you're using virtual environments. Debian 12 will not let me do like pip install. I don't know, Scapy. Pip. Oh, that's if I spell it correctly, it might actually work. Install. Like it just okay. Oh, I think I broke something else that let me do it. It usually won't let me do it because it will protect me from doing most things, but it's funny, it worked on Scapy. It's fine. I'll use it for later, something else. But Debian 12 has that issue. And then this is my system specs right here. Debian 12, Bookworm. Problem is Bookworm's so new, half these devs built these open source tools in Debian 11. So you're going to have issues that there's no support for if you use the greatest and latest anything. Like it just doesn't work. I used to think it was good, but then none of the programs worked. So I'm like, okay, that's I guess that sucks. So these are the programs I have, Ray. I got the yeah, of course, Sean, no problem. So there's a few things that I've got going on that I basically needed to have running. I'm gonna stop this this server. So if anyone's using it, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but I saw some output was generated. So right here you can see I put an input and generated output 2 seconds, 2 seconds, and this, keep in mind, was with the text to speech. So it was actually talking to me. And it's using more GPU cycles as well. So this is like a bit more advanced on the running local models. Now, my next session, next month, I'm going to be going over image generation, text to image, text to video, deep fakes, and all the other things that you can use your GPU for, because that's a whole entirely other side of AI that we haven't even scratched the surface on, and that it's gone insanely good to the point where I think the internet is personally broken, and you won't be able to tell like what's real or not anymore.
Does it work that you can actually you can stack AI models next to each other? So you're like, build me a presentation about dinosaurs that lived in the Mesozoic era and show me pictures of those dinosaurs and give me a voiceover. Can you stack AI models next to each other and then build an entire presentation off of that?
Yes. So let me yeah, that's okay. Let me show you on it. Okay. I will show this, but I'm gonna make a huge disclaimer. Because all my AI models are uncensored, I have no idea what it will produce. So I'm gonna try to make it as like you know what? No, I'm gonna use a different. Okay. I will try this, and hopefully this doesn't like blow up in my face, but that's okay. Okay, so I have another server I created. I'm gonna pop these away. All right, so this is an image generation server I've put together. Okay, so it's AI. So yeah, what they do for the AI to generate 50 things of what people look like from all 50 states. So for example, you know, let's see, AI. Someone give me a state. I'm gonna prep this while that happens. Colorado. Okay, so we're gonna do Colorado. Hopefully we don't have any horrors. MSFW. Okay. All right. What are they called? Coloradan?
Yes.
Is that how you spell it?
OAN. Yeah, OAN, like that.
Coloradan. Realistic. What do they do? Coloradan
Rock climbing.
realistic
They do rock climbing and hiking.
rock climbing. Sportsy. Like, please do not be NSFW. That's like my okay. So it's gonna create one. Oh, I interrupted it. It's just here, let me regenerate it. So you can stack them. I'm gonna show. Yeah, you can make a breakdancing cowboy. Okay, great. Oh, good. I'm like, okay, so it's using my GPU to process the stuff. There's a lot of settings that go into it, but I've set it up where I just have to hit the play button. We want to see a breakdancing cowboy. That's totally fine. We can Coloradan, rock climbing, sportsy. We can close this prompt here. We're going to open this one up. We're gonna do comment eliminated. Okay. So let's see what we get with a breakdancing cowboy. There you go. We got obviously the leg looks a little horrific, but yeah, it's got the breakdancing. It's got that stuff. So you can stack them on top of each other. That is definitely doable. So what can we do with this? Because the image generation on its own is one thing, but let's see if we can stack it here, right? So so this, I'll give an example of one of the, I'm going to give you, and I'm going to showcase an example of what you can do with it. This is something I was designing for use case in my app company, and also, come on, load. Doesn't want to load right now. Chat history. We'll reload this thing. Oh, that's because I did it in a different session. So let's see. NVIDIA. I want to make sure everything's loaded off. Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to choose the model. So basically, these are AI models pre-prompted. I did a lot of programming here with the prompt override. Oh, let me turn off the voice. I don't think anyone else can hear the voice, but if you go to this URL, you can kind of play around with it. You can hear it talk when it's doing whatever it does. Just when you go here, hit the plug, hit the connect button, and it should work. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to showcase one of the past chats that were really good here. So this is basically a mixture of social engineering with a sales instance. So I want to open this up. Okay, so this is basically the sales instance right here. So hi. So basically some context. I have my AI SMS text people saying like, okay, it's talking to me. I gotta turn that off. Stop. Okay. So the context is it's going to SMS text you out of the blue. It typically will target people coming from a specific event, and the event just ended within the last 7 days, and it'll say like, "Hey, hey, how are you?" or something like that. And then if it's with iChat, it'll show like the little icon or whatnot, like, "Hey, who's this?" It's it's "Hey, Preston, it's Ava. We spoke at the event, blah blah blah, from Miami, whatever." And it's like usually when I go to conferences, like, do we have a photo? Have I met before? Something like that. And then it was able to generate one. It was able to say no, but here's a photo from Insta. This was generated using the API from the other server I set up. And it says, "Oh, okay, we spoke about ChatGPT, yeah." And so it's able to carry a whole conversation. And then basically at the end, it just pushes to create some kind of scheduling link or something like that. But it works. Now, I don't know why it looped. That's kind of weird. Maybe I had it on loop or something like that. That's really strange. But that's like one general gist of it, so you can stack them. Now, if you want to hear the multi-layering AI, you can go here, click on these three things, click TTS, turn it on, and then basically you can talk with any of the models. You can talk with any of the models here. This one, Billy Mays, I got Billy Mays a browser. What do you mean by a browser agent? Like, I hit the regenerate.
Like, can you create it as a bot on top of like LinkedIn and then use
Yeah.
it to chat with
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, of course. That's yeah, you just need either use it as a web API, or you create a webhook, and then you can overlay it based on the website that you're trying to connect it to. AI calendar app. Oh, that's a bug. That's good to fix. So you can overlay it, but you have to basically you can do whatever you want as long as like there's a library out there for that. So you can use Selenium for that, or you can use something else. Where is that line of code? I need to put this as a tiny URL because it's totally breaking. Tiny URL. So like this is just the fine-tune aspect of it. But yes, in short, you can do whatever you need to. It's not an issue. But if anyone is curious, you can go in, you can listen to it. It sounds pretty human because I'm using an 11 Labs API for a really good audio voice, and yeah, it's a pretty straightforward process. Like you can have it do all sorts of things, and it's just testing over and over and over again to make sure it works. But because this one, I want it to be able to connect with a proper a fast response time. So if I want a fast response time, I will use ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo because that's one of the fastest ones available. And then I'll just hit connect. And then boom, it should connect, and then it will connect me to Turbo, and then it will be able to respond to me quickly. It will be able to do voice generation quickly, and so that's pretty good. You know, if I hit new chat, hey, have we met? Right, it's pretty quick, and then it can do the generation, and then the last aspect of it, you can talk with it, right? So I can say, hey, I'm talking to the microphone right now. And my hands are here, so I'm obviously not typing, but I'm going to talk and try to continue this conversation. And then I stop talking, it will automatically send it to the AI bot, and then it will communicate with me, and then it will also create a voice and communicate with me in real time with a human sounding voice. You can train the voice models using 11 Labs or a few other systems, or you can train it yourself using Tortoise. But there's really the depth of the AI projects on there. You got voice, you got video, you got sound, you got images, you've got information generation and curation. Like the rabbit hole goes really, really deep. It's some pretty crazy stuff. So there is that. Let me see. I actually did want to set up this. So I'll showcase like the process for a fresh, like for example, I want to run a auto prompter locally, right? I'm going to go through the process of this live so that you all can see. Step one, I'm going to open up the GitHub baby AGI. I'm going to skip all the code and go straight to the README. Well, this is a lot of documentation. So it's an AI-powered task management system, OpenAI, Chroma, Weave, and stuff like that. Okay, so how does this run like that? How do we use it? So clone this. So again, because I want it to be as straightforward as possible with my my system, I have that headless system there. So I'm in the software. So I'm going to do the git clone and just pop it in there. Set up a whole project, done, move that in there. I use fish shell because it just auto completes and it also completes a lot of stuff, and it's really nice. It's like Cisco iOS, if anyone's used that. It will tell you what it does for the most part for most commands on your system. Bash does not do that. I just like it. It just helps me not want to go crazy. And then okay, I've cloned it. And then I basically have to do the install requirements. I'm going to create an environment actually. So was it Conda baby? Let me see here real quick. I'll probably just use an environment actually. Chat. The command escapes me right now. Create a venv install baby AGI. So this is my pipeline. I'll showcase what that looks like. I've kind of forgotten a few commands because I'm not a computer, but I need to create a virtual environment. I know what I need to do here, so it helps me a lot. I have GPT-4 because it really helps not mess things up. So I'm going to do this, but I'm going to change it to baby AGI. There we go. So I'm going to create this virtual environment for baby AGI, and then I'm just going to type activate. It's pretty much it. I don't see, this is where it's hallucinating. I don't think there's a pip package, or else I would have found out about that. Activate baby. Oh no, activate. I'm just doing this for good Python hygiene, so it doesn't like completely destroy my system for pretty much anything there. All right, okay. Source baby AGI, and then bin activate. Oh, that's because I'm in a fish shell. So there we go. Okay, so now I'm in the baby AGI. This is like a VM, but it's not, because the VM is a whole big thing. This is just so I could run and install a bunch of pip things without completely just breaking it. So what I'm going to do to make it clean is I'm going to put the instructions on the left, and I'm going to put this project on or this on the left, this on the right. Then I'm going to do pip install requirements. I have no fear now because I'm in that virtual environment. I always can just like delete it later. So, and there's no conflict. So if I have a program that needs Torch 2.1, and I have currently installed in my system Torch 2.05, but one of my other projects needs Torch 2.05 to work, but I need 2.1, then they will fight each other and one of the projects won't work. Thus, it's really good practice, not only for its good practice. If you want your programs to work, use virtual environments. And then you can install anything and everything you want without an issue. Okay, and then it says here I got to set the Open API key. Fantastic. Then you can do all the baby, or you can run in a Docker that exists as well. Now, with a local LLM, this is if you want to run with a Open API. But if we run here, this is the YouTube video that will really help. But this is how you can run a local auto. You can run a here. You can run a auto prompter with your own local models, which is fantastic. So let's see. This is a UI, which is nifty for it, and it uses Node, right? Obviously, at the end of the day, you want to follow the prompts, but it's a lot harder to follow them sometimes when you're on Windows, because Python, Microsoft wants to hijack it. And really, a lot of these AI projects are really designed for Linuxes. So I recommend you open up a VM if you want to check this stuff out. Though the thing about VMs that I do have issues with is the drivers, and it does kind of drive me crazy a little bit. But that is something that you can have done. But I'm going to run this project locally just to showcase that it can happen. Obviously, I just have to follow the instructions here. So I need to set this up in a variable or whatever. Then I can basically just run the script. That's pretty much all I needed to do with it. Now I'm curious what happens if I just run it. Is it smart, and will it prompt me for an API key? No, it won't. So I have to nano.env env, and Oh, so I want to see what the example looks like, just so I have an idea. So it basically is like this. Okay, so let's say LLM model, and then OpenAI API key. So these are, and temperature 0. Someone asked about temperature earlier. Temperature again is the randomness of it. So okay, now I'm going to paste that in here. I'm going to use 3.5 turbo. That's commented out. LLM model path. So this is where I can use a local model. Notice it uses a bin file. Okay, that means you cannot use GPTQ models that are safe tensors when you're loading it into um, this auto GPT or baby AGI, because it is a llama loader. Llamas like to eat out of bins, so it's a llama loader. So it uses bins, not the safe tensor GPTQ. Yeah, that's just something that you're gonna learn a bit as you use them more, but it's gonna be really useful. And this is the direction of really cybersecurity and a lot of tech, because one AI model can replace a lot of people, and it can be trained and it won't really mess up, and you can save it to a database and do all sorts of things, which if you know how to read and understand them and load up models to solve business problems at scale, then this is where all the jobs are going to end up, is this is going to do all the job work stuff, and whoever maintains this is really going to know what to do there. So it needs an API key. So let me give it some kind of API key here. Let me go.
I think that was really insightful. You forecast that part of the cybersecurity / IT profession is going to be in the maintenance, the setup and maintenance of AI models for the ease of use for businesses.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's going to boil back down to two things. Most of cybersecurity now is just analysis work. You look at logs all day. AI can do that way better. Like that's just what it can do. Because you don't have to train. They don't get tired. It's 24/7. You will not miss anything. But at the end of the day, a human has to decide what to want to do with that data. So we'll gradually replace the people doing the rote analysis aspect, which AI is way better at doing anyways. At least when it comes to performing the analysis. Generating the rules, it's not the best at, but doing the analysis, sure. And then the data is then going to be logged and sent to a database somewhere. Then you need to be able to make sure that users can that data is the CIA triad still remains intact, where that data is authentic and there's not like the hallucination score in that data is not like crazy. So maybe AGI. Let's create one here. Okay, and then we're gonna put that API key here. Temperature 0. Save, yeah. Okay, now run Python. So, okay, fantastic. Results store name environment. That's because I did not add results store name. I need to create a table for it. Okay. So again, this is half of the AI projects. Is like there was an error message somewhere. It wanted you to fix something. You fix it, and then you kind of go from there. I don't think this is recorded though. I think that I can't even turn it on. Is it recording?
I don't know.
No, I don't think I have access to it. Objective
It does say
environment.
recording on the top left corner though.
Oh, okay, perfect. So here we've got the example. Okay, so what I'm actually gonna do, because I don't want to I'm just gonna copy this. Copy.env environment variable example to .env, and then I'm gonna nano.env, and then that's commented out. API key. Nope. You can delete that. Where's the API key I had earlier? I'm gonna paste that here and then grab it from my clipboard. Okay. Let's look at this. We don't need weave, commented out, instance name, none, local, solve world hunger. Ah, okay, yeah, that's really okay. No, I'm not gonna do that one. That's I have a let's see. Someone give me an objective. We're gonna do .env in sections. Okay. All right. Then the objective is to create. Here we go. Okay, that's my objective. It's a little meta here. So create the ultimate AI. That's a pretty vague goal, honestly. But we're gonna find out what does that even mean, right? So config turbo, cool. Okay, develop a task list. Okay, developing a task list. So task list, develop a task list, and then it's that is going to be the next task. So okay, here's the task list. Okay, here's oh my god. Define scope of what is AI. Oh, here it made it cleaner to look at. Gather and analyze data. Blah 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 blah. And then it's going to go and do this whole process, right? So this is honestly, it's doing this pretty fast because it's not using a heavy UI. It's just like the data, right? There we go. It's and I can pause this and dump the. Oh shoot! You know what's funny? Is space God mode space has been running this whole time. I totally forgot. Let's look at that while that's running. Okay, hey, okay, good. It stopped after 10 minutes. Okay, so what did it create? Firewall intrusion detection text. What does that look like? Okay, do this. Assessment network manager, configure systems, right? This big goal is broken down into super tiny goals, and we've been letting this thing run basically this whole time. So it's been doing a lot of work, or at least 10 minutes of just pure work. Update the firewall. Okay. Patch management text. Okay. How do we do patch management? Okay, so it gives you, we should do patch management. We need to have a security incident response method. So it gives like a breakdown of that, social engineering protection, training program. Like this is some pretty textbook stuff, but it was able to pull this out from a really vague goal of vulnerability assessment, a really vague goal of secure 100 devices across your locations, right? And it was able to do all this stuff. It was able to write social engineering protection measures. So I was able to, honestly, I'd say it did a pretty good job of at least breaking down this overall big goal into action items in files, right? And this is stuff that you can send of like, this is my action plan. This is what I want to do, right? So that's a pretty nifty thing there. So that's God mode space, right? That's, let it run in the UI, but we're using a different one, which is a command line based. This one, I'm going to stop Control C that, but here, okay. So let's look at this a little bit. Wow, there's a lot going on here, but it basically says develop and train, gather info, and so it's going to start talking about all the things of AI. It's going to talk about data management, pre-processed data to be clean for training, and then put it through a natural language processor. Make sure it has security for user data and privacy. Like this is a pretty elaborate stuff, and we just let it run while I was talking about other stuff, and it output all this stuff. Now, this is a little bit too TMI. This is why for a lot of auto GPTs, I only let do the coding tasks because it's actually useful to me because I can just hit Python and then run the script or run a shell script and it will do it for me. I can't even process this much information. It's just too much for me because this is a lot, right? So what typically is good is like I like to run auto GPTs for Python tasks so that it can make a bunch of scripts. One of them probably is bound to work by the end of it all. Now, let me see here if I can get it run locally because I don't want to use an API key, and that helps. So this is using a different GitHub project, right? And the more GitHub projects that you get used to running, the easier it's going to be to just like to just pop up another one, right? So we got baby AGI working. Fantastic. So now it looks like this is a baby AGI UI because I just don't want to run it completely in a CLI. Like I want to have a good user experience, but I just needed to test to make sure it worked in the first place. So kind of can speed run through this thing, but there's always going to be a README file if they don't like if for most circumstances it'll be a README file, and then you can kind of go through this process. Linux's installations are usually the shortest one. So clone, go to the thing, look, npm install, and then set up your environment file with some variables, and then run the project. That's pretty much it. So shell run npm install. I think I already have npm install, so I'm gonna go here and do it so I can keep that thing going on. Because if I can get a UI set up, that'd be pretty nifty. It'd be a plus. Is npm installed? I think npm is installed on the system, and then I just have to copy the environment variable, do the same thing as before. This is just installing all the node modules. Long story short, I just ran the commands. We're not going to go deep diving into web development and stuff like that. The website's already built, the UI is already done. We're just going to hit install, and it will install all the fonts, the buttons, the scripts, and everything that needs to exist for the website to look nice. Because we're going to run a website. We're going to run a website from scratch with all the files there. That's what that UI is for, because it's going to look good. And obviously, if we look here at that, where's that YouTube video? I'm hunting. The YouTube video, the UI kind of looks nice, because I want to run baby AGI, and I want to be able to see more than just like the 6 vulnerabilities. That's not good. So I want to be able to run some stuff like that, and then what else is here? Run the project. Okay, so there we go. I can run this thing here. So okay, run, boom, info loaded. Okay, localhost 3000. Okay, fantastic. So I want to see what that looks like. I have an RMM into my my local host there, so I'm going to turn on instance.
What is it running off of? Nginx? Is it running off of Nginx?
Node.
Node, yeah. So Node sits usually on Nginx. Right?
I run everything on Caddy. I hate SSL configs. So I just run everything on Caddy.
CADDY?
Yeah, it's an auto SSL Nginx. It's like literally the best web server out there. I haven't configured Nginx in like a long time, because I don't want to have that pain. But yeah, I run everything on Caddy. But I think no. This isn't a web server serving out or anything. This one really just runs on. No, I don't think they're. This one's just like a JavaScript running a local node. I can connect it to Caddy, but I haven't connected it to Caddy yet. But I'm going to just run it locally here. So I have RMM'd into my my system here. I use RustDesk. AnyDesk too expensive and buggy. TeamViewers, whatever. This is free, open source. RustDesk cross-platform, works on mobile, and it works on cellular hotspots. It's pretty good. It's got a mobile app. It's pretty nifty stuff. Okay, that should have logged in. Let me move it around. Let's see what's going on with it. I want to double click this. That's nice. It's a big crashed monitor here. I'm gonna close that Proxmox. You can go away. Let's see. I can actually kill this RustDesk here. I have it on that. I have the RustDesk RMM linked up to the Kali that I showed with the process, because I have the Kali literally. Let me hold on. Let me do this. Video virtual background. I literally have the Kali here, and then here's the system I'm working on here, and I have another monitor here. So I use an RMM because I'm too lazy to hit my KVM switch button. It's really bad. No, it's literally the button is here. The button is right here, and I literally use the RMM because I can move, and my shared middle screen is almost like a second monitor, kind of. It's honestly horrible, but because I have LAN direct IP RMM access, on the protocol, I can just it's honestly there's like zero latency, so I have no problems with it.
So you basically have a shared monitor for two different machines, and you're able to drag back and forth. Is that what I understand with that RMM? Is that
I can I can view both computers and control them both using one computer. And then if I need to copy and paste something, I just enable the clipboard to be able to do it. And then I use the built-in FTP option to move files across. So it's kind of janky, but sometimes it's just faster to not have to hit the button because there's like a 1 second delay when I hit the KVM switch button to switch over my keyboard and mouse to the other computer. And I was in the middle of something. I don't want to wait a second. It's really bad. But it does work. Let me see why this is glitching here. These are the other problems. But
this
I mean,
is the best deep dive I've ever been to for AI. I've been to a few, and this is by far the best.
I'm glad you enjoy it because most people won't go into these projects because I spent countless hours like there's no error logs for these things. I have current issues right now on GitHub for some of these projects because I found bugs no one else has fixed, and I'm using the most. People do not. This is a pro tip. People do not want to respond to bugs that you found because you were using Arch Linux. That's not their system. They don't know. You have to use what all the other AI enthusiasts are using, so they even bother to respond to your question, because you might be using some outlandish OS, using some weird. I use this is a pretty basic display manager. I use I don't remember. It's not LXD. It's the other one, I think. And I use a normal display manager. I use Debian 12 normal repos. And I do things normally because when someone says, "Oh, you broke it," I don't know. You were using a Cinnamon display manager. That's probably what broke it, and it did. One time it did. The NVIDIA drivers didn't like the display manager. That just sucks. So I just keep it boring and simple because I'd rather have it work than fancy. So let me stretch auto adapt resolution. Okay. All right. So let's look at that server that was popped up on localhost. Rust has crashed. That's okay. Here, localhost 3000. Okay. HTTP. Okay. So localhost 3000. I got the request. I saw it there. So baby AGI. Let's see what's up. This is the UI for it. Okay, so any errors? Let's see, browser list, client serve. It should be it's compiling. Okay, so it's doing stuff. So at least there's no errors. But I mean, if you do a web development crash course at bootcamp, this is the front end, like what you see, in the back end, like the code that makes the stuff work. So you're seeing it side by side on the same system. Of course, it makes it easier. Look at this. This is way nicer than the environment variable thing that I had to. Yeah, I know it's. Let me try to full screen it for y'all. Okay, this is why I don't use any desk. I know I have a free license. Thank you. Okay, okay, baby AGI deer, right? Or elf. I'm gonna use deer, use turbo. Remember, I chose turbo inside the environment variables, but I love the UI because if I want to use GPT-4, I just click on it and it works. Text completion or web search, that's pretty cool. And then I can put the objective here. So someone give me a new objective.
Color my hair green.
Okay.
Is that too human? Does it need to be more technical?
We're gonna go bigger scale. I need to set up a multinational barbershop conglomerate, because asking it how to if Google can answer it, just use Google, right? But this one, oh, what happened here? Let's see. So no result message. Probably has to do with some, but look at this UI real quick.
Hard is misspelled.
Oh yes. But the issue was due to something else. It was due to it was probably due to text completion examples. Let me look at the error. Let's see. Oh, I have to alt tab over here. What's the error? Axios failed. 401 on Axios, right? So this is how you kind of troubleshoot it. So okay, I see what happened there. There was an issue. So the non-GUI version works, but the UI one doesn't, right? And so for the most part, if I was trying to run a auto AGI, I would be able to do that. But what I want to do is, okay, how do I get rid of this? Hold on, okay, there we go. Because I like to be able to do something like this, right? So let's see if we can get one where it doesn't burn up all my API credits. So we have the text version working. It works really fast, but the experience is horrible. I can't even read this. It's not big enough for my screen, whatever, right? I'd like to use the UI, but the UI is having some kind of bugs. This is where you go to GitHub and say, hey, I'm having this issue. So like if we look at the actual troubleshooting process, this is what you do. There's an issue. You go specifically to, I'm going to close some of these. We're going to go specifically to the, that repo, which was baby, that's the wrong language, AGI.
That's an authorization error. It's an lacks valid authentication credentials for the repo.
Sure. But I'm going to search for the, I'm going to try to search for it. Oh, is that like with the API key, you think? Let's see. I'm going to do Axios error.
Yeah, I'm going to guess the 401 is.
Yes. But I'm going to try to say like, hey, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the GitHub code and say like, hey, I have Axios error. What's the issue with that? And then I'm also going to run it here on the back end too. You know what? I have an idea of what it might be actually, because the environment variable we didn't even configure in this new project. That's it. And it wants it in quotes. So let me do that there. Running this project and copy that. Boom, paste that in there. Pinecone, not using Pinecone, public T, blah, 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 blah. Base URL, that's fine. Translator service, Google, okay. Chat, okay, this should probably fix it. Yeah. Okay. Run dev. Okay. And then we go back to RMM. Loads up pretty quick. Yeah. I'm gonna refresh. I'm gonna do this first before I'm gonna make sure it works, and then I'll full screen it once I verify. But the prompt was a multinational create national barber shop. My keyboard is really sensitive, so that I can just like, it's so bad to the point now because I've mainly just been using LLMs. I got a keyboard that's just designed to be really fast, and I don't even spell check anymore. It's pretty horrible, but it works. Okay, let's see if it works. Let's make sure we don't get the error. Okay, we fixed the issue. Yay. Full screen.
So it has a JSON that it responded with.
Huh?
The task list. Oh, that's the task. The task is in some sort of JSON. There it is.
Hey, it looks a lot better than what we had before with the command line prompt. So this is running here. So check this out. At least we can scroll and look at it. So right here, it's kind of fighting me actually. It's kind of doing this thing. So it's executing task 1629. There's a lot of things. It made it a whole checklist. This is pretty nifty. It's doing what it does. I might even pop this up Yeah, no worries, April. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Enjoy the recording, and I'll see you all again in a month, hopefully. So I might actually run this as a server later because I think this is pretty fun. But I'm going to run it locally because I don't want OpenAI to burn my credits through the roof because GPT 3.5 is cheap. GPT 4 is 3 cents a message, so it can get really pricey if you do this. If you just chat with it, fine. Maybe you'll run up 40 cents here for a conversation. Like it's cheaper than hiring a consultant, but you do this for sure. I don't want this thing running. This uses like a tenth of a cent every message. So this is okay. I'm gonna stop. It's doing way too much for me right now. Okay. So there's the status, like check mark, did it do it or not? This is why God Mode Space is the best UI. It kind of keeps everything in one spot. But obviously, it's not what we're trying to do is we're trying to run everything locally, right? So skill, search, dependency, analyze, dependency 1 and 2. So it's kind of cool. You can say like, okay, well, depending on the data derived from 1 and 2, number 3 will start to do some stuff here. So it's going to try to look at the industries for barbershops in different countries, for the market trends. Woo! Follow up on the web info, web search, analyze its findings to figure out the best strategies to expand. Like this is a big project and it's doing a good job of listing and itemizing. Right here, 20 tasks on what it wants to do. And then it's doing the web search, task details. It's querying, conduct a web search, follow up. Okay, query. Successful, cool. So it has internet access. That's cool. It's already better than GPT 3.5 without a subscription model. Here, okay, legal requirements, cool. And so it's basically breaking everything down. But obviously, the God mode was a lot more organized than this. What happens if I hit new? This is a new chat here, and this UI for this is really similar to chat GPT there, right? Now, obviously it's using 3.5, but I can switch it to 4 because I have access, use a different agent. So look, we got a UI working from a GitHub. That's pretty nifty. But what if I want to upgrade this thing now, right? What if I don't want, oh shoot, that's gone forever. What if I don't want to run it that way? Oh no. Baby AGI local LLM. The next step that I want to do. I don't want to run this one. I want to run you know what? I actually don't think that anyone made a video on this. But I found there's a GitHub for it. So yeah, GitHub is where all that cool stuff is going to be. So let's see, local baby AGI. Let's see. No, this is, oh, I see. So I was looking at different repos for it, but I ran one a while back. It was running, and looking through GitHub is really how you'll be able to get on the bleeding edge with some of these projects. Baby AGI. I'm going to type baby AGI first. And then I'm also going to check something out here, which is I wanted to run local LLM with Auto GPT. Auto GPT is another version of it. So Baby AGI is different from Auto GPT, and the Auto GPT only answers one question. Baby AGI creates a task list and goes through all of them. And Baby AGI, I think, is personally much better than Auto GPT. But let's see if there's some stuff here. Private GPT. Okay, let's see, private. This is a great YouTuber as well. Let me copy and put this in the Zoom chat. Great. It's an AI based YouTube channel. He just uses his voice and an AI avatar, but it's good. Really good stuff. And he uses the Windows too. Keep in mind he uses Windows. Okay, so local GPT. So local. I want to run a local GPT on Baby AGI. Now you're gonna start to understand the lingo used in this this industry. A local GPT is a local version. Baby AGI is one of those auto GPTs, one of the top ones. So let's see, automate a task, design some labs with your Flipper Zero. So what do you want? What do you want to do for the Flipper Zero? Because Flipper Zero is all about signal. You need an SDR. So I have a Flipper Zero, but you need an SDR. I have a Ponagachi right here next to me too as well. So well, yeah, I got my Flipper Zeros in Asia. Here's my Ponagachi. But yeah, you can, but you need an SDR, and then you need to run you need to run the open interpreter so that it can write scripts on your system to control the SDR, and then you can have labs with your Flipper Zero. But you need the a Flipper Zero.
What do you mean SDR?
Software defined radio, because it will create frequencies and it will create types of traffic. So you can get a hack RF. Okay, I guess we're gonna go more into a deep dive on that. But is a hack RF? Is the SDR, software defined radio? So with software, you can create radio frequencies and stuff like that. This is the version that's really user friendly. It's got a display, and you can capture air traffic controller signals. You can change billboard signs and stuff. This is like the Flipper Zero, but like it's like crazy uncle that fought in a few wars. And this is also used here in Ukraine too. So it actually did fight in a few wars. This is really good for signal intelligence. You can listen for signals all around and multiple frequencies. It works from 600 megahertz, 6,000. Like this thing is some solid stuff. You can look at air traffic control traffic, ship, naval traffic. You can do a lot with this thing, honestly. But long story short, you set this thing up, you have the software defined radio, you make the Python code, then create labs for your Flipper Zero, so then you can do stuff with it. That's basically the gist of it. But let's see, the local GPT model, baby AGI. You know what? I think I might have starred. Let me check starred. I don't star very many AIs. Whoops. Oh, no, it brought me over to docs. Okay, so let me see here. My stars. Like I'm very picky on the GitHub repos. I think this is one I might do for next month, where I will call and do this thing as George. I just need his photo, which he has conveniently on his profile picture, and I don't know, maybe we'll see. Hard deep fakes. So Roop, falling skies, gray hacky. Where is it? Baby AGI for all. There we go. Yes, man. This one was a sleeper. This one's really hard to find, but I will showcase this one because I want everyone to be able to do this. And if you have a GPU at home or you have some resources and you don't want to pay, I will teach you how to do this locally, so you can run this thing for like 3 weeks and see what it comes up with. So I'm gonna do the GitHub pull. Baby AGI for all. This repo is like the best one. It's one of my favorite. So, okay, git clone, and then that's annoying. So most projects, you see the GitHub, you get clone. Okay, I mean we've done. This is going to be our third project. So, baby AGI for all. Move into the directory. I'm gonna probably it's just going to be pip install requirements. Remember, one thing that we want to do is we want to create the oh my god, Python v, and then we want to create one for baby AGI for all. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to create a virtual environment because, again, I don't want to break anything else that I have on this system, and I only feel comfortable doing it at this point because I have a few running services on here that well, I don't want to break. So baby AGI for all, and then we're gonna go into the binary, and then we're gonna go activate. I have the fish terminal, so I'm gonna use fish. Boom. Okay, so now I can do pip install attack R requirements. So okay, before I do this, let me showcase what is in the requirements file, because you've seen this a couple times. Some of you may have questions. So I know this is now a software development course, kind of. It's funny. This is what's in the requirements.txt. It basically says it's just like a bash. No, not really. It will tell you what package. It's kind of like a Python import, but it will tell you exactly which version of it it needs to have. So now I'm going to say I install, but not one thing. I'm going to install it from a file, and it's going to download all of these things and then install it for me. Because I run like my own little data center, I have decently fast internet, but otherwise, AI models can be really heavy. Some of the models are like 10, 14 gigabytes because they're AI models. They've been trained on billions of parameters, like literally. I mean, it's a process. So if you want to have a healthy AI server, pretty much anything that you use for gaming, it might not be enough, but it's still pretty good. So if you have some GPUs lying around or something like that, or you have a gaming system that you don't game anymore, or you do but you want to run something kind of cool, or you have a project, like say you have something for work and you just want to like get a brainstorm ideas, you can run baby AGI for all and just whoosh, I know, just give you all the ideas for that one project. So right now I'm just installing all the dependencies.
So what's the difference between baby AGI and baby AGI for all? What's the specific difference?
Baby AGI requires an API key from OpenAI.
And baby AGI for all runs on its own internal
It runs locally,
RAID
yes.
LLM that you don't have to use any tokens or credits for.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So for example, I'm going to grab GPT for all. Okay, quantize 4. Quantize 4 means small, it works. So I'm gonna grab, where is it? The main repo is here. Subdirectory. Okay, so I want to grab the I don't know, GG. I want to grab this model, right? Because it said it was tested with and it worked. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do exactly that because I don't want to deviate. I don't want to have issues. And it said specifically, yes. The difference is that let me go here. Connect. I'll show you the difference because when I ran baby AGI, it asked for an API key. Oh, that's the wrong. No, that's the right device. And then it's going to disconnect and then reconnect again. Where's my rest desk? Still broken? That's good. I like that. I probably should restart this computer. It's been a few days. It uses the model it uses is OpenAI's GPT models. It cannot use anything else. So it's limiting, but it's effective. But I want to run this model, for example. But I need to run the Q4 what's this Q40 bin no Q4 2 bin. Oh, that's not good because I only have Q4. I'm gonna run let's see, quantize 5. I'm gonna run the Q4. I'm gonna run this one. This is the one I'm going to shoot for.
And this would be the pathway if we wanted to run something uncensored. Then this would be the pathway we would follow. We would use an uncensored LLM instead.
Yeah, this is what we'd want to do if we want to run an uncensored one on a specific model, right? So like if you wanted to Like if you want to ask it to do stuff that's not kosher and you're trying to run a normal model, it won't work. So let's look up like uncensored models. Uncensored. Oh my god, I can't spell today. 7B GPTQ.
Well, it
But
won't
no,
run GPU, right?
I don't think it will. I think this one runs a bin file. So we need to look up wizard uncensored. So we're gonna look for a wizard uncensored standard. Oh my god, it brought me here. Let's see. The bloke is. I'm gonna go to the author page, and we're gonna see which. Oh, this. I think Minstrel was an uncensored one as well. Actually, GGUF is a new format. Replace GGML, which is no longer supported by Llama C++. So yeah, these are a few things here. Let's see though if the bit. No, I'm not even gonna try. This is way too new. This uses GGUF, not even a safe. This is new for me too. Like this is like brand new. It just came out. I'm not gonna mess with that. But I do want a bin file, and I know I'm looking for a bin file because we know that this is still installing. We know that baby AGI because we know that it is looking specifically. Oh, you know what? To be fair, we only ran APIs. We didn't actually run a we didn't actually run any anything. I'm gonna give it a shot, right? I'm gonna try to install the 7B, but I want to get the quantized. Okay, this is what quantized means. It's gonna sound like crazy. I want it quantized for 4 bits, meaning that it will basically run without it will be a smaller model, but it will be less powerful. You can run 8-bit, which is going to be much larger. Look at the size of 7 gigs versus 3 gigs. They double the size, obviously, but the improvement is like 2%. So it's fine. It's like it's not a crazy thing. So I'm going to actually grab. I'm going to try to grab this model right here. Now, is this a bin or what is this? Let me see if I open this in a new tab. Okay, no, it just brings me here. So what is this is GPTQ. This is using again, we see this is the safe tensor. I mentioned this before. So I'm gonna hit clone repo and I'm gonna go back here. We're gonna go to CD because what was that? We're gonna go to baby AGI for all because I want to run this stuff here, and then I'm gonna do the git clone. What happened here? Git clone. Okay, so because because Hugging Face is basically GitHub, I can run git clone. Now, I did is because there's a large file in there. I did have to run one GGML. The bloke wizard vicuna uncensored. But GGML does it have a bin file in there?
When I asked for running Wizard Vicuna with bin file, this is what Google sent me to.
Can you open it? So let me open this up. Let's find out. Right. Let's go to files because Google all the AIs are hallucinogenic when it comes to actual AI.
It could be that the GGML is just a package.
Yes, this is a bin file actually.
It is. How can you tell? How did you just pull that up?
Because I hovered over it and down here in the very bottom, you can see .bin on the end of the preview stuff. Like if you look like really at the very look at the very bottom of the screen share on the bottom left corner.
Oh yeah, for the file path.
Yeah, that's how I could tell it's a bin. It's really annoying that I have no idea what is what here. But oh, it will tell me. Oh my god, this is
probably just put some more markup in there to like define it a little better.
Let me zoom out maybe. Yeah, here we go. It's horrible. Q quant 4. But it's going to grab me all the bin files. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, I'm going to go down, give me a 4 quant on, this one seems like it has more parameters. I'm not going to touch that. GPT Q4 quant. Okay, so I want Q4KS. I think it's like K small.
What do those letters mean? K and S. What is the Q4 is the bits, right? And then
K quant. K is K quant. This is how they organize it, and then S I'm assuming is small and medium. So because medium has a larger file size than small and medium. Okay. I'm just guessing here, but I want this file specifically if I'm going to test this with the bin file. But let's see what we've got here. This is obviously still doing its thing. Let's see. We're going to so oh yeah, this one it says that this one GGML files. That's weird. But it says it supports text generation, web UI, or Ooga Booga, Coboid, Paris, GPT for all, UI, Llama, Python, and so this is what it's supported by. So there's Coboid in there. It's the easy one. I just suggest using that one. That's going to be the easiest one for everyone to get working. But I have downloaded that one. Let's see if I can just do a wget for this specific file. Oh shoot. It's K baby AGI has a limited large, yes, only 2. And while a baby AGI for all can use any that it supports, and that's what we're trying to figure out here. New for breaking, that's a bin. Let's see. You know what? Let me see if there's a AGI for all. That's the wrong language. And then we're gonna see okay, perfect. Yes, an auto GPT, open source, fantastic. I'll put this video in there too. This is honestly like this is the pinnacle crux of AI right now. Like as much as you can do, because it will be completely free and it will be able to go to the internet. It will be able to search things and it will be able to do work. It will be able to process and figure out what's going on. Let me figure out. Okay, it's quantize 2. So let's see. Baby. Okay, so they're basically running through that, grabbing the requirements. Sure. Oh, what? I like this. Yes. Okay, GPT for all chat man. Okay. Oh, that's because I didn't go through the full process. Fine. So we found, where is it? Here. It didn't link me down because of something. It should link me. Oh, you know what?
Yeah, I think it's that one, the top one.
Yeah. The link changed, but it should have the models. That's what I would have seen it. Let me try this one then, because the local models are no longer in that location. Because it would clearly be their manual download of models. 1.2 Jazzy bin wizard. Yeah, this is how it was done the first time around. Let's see, manual download of models. One Q42 for, okay, so I'll grab a Q42 GGML wizard LM7B Q4. So that's 7 billion parameters using the GGML. It looks like that's the new format. Q4 quant size 4, version number 2. So that's probably small. Bin file. right? We got to like kind of break that down. So no, this is the newer one using no, we want the file ggml. This is version 3, quant size 4km. Oh, so they changed. This is the small. Okay, this one's the small right here. I'm gonna copy this, and then I'll do a wget here. So let's check to see if there's any models. So make dir, and then models, modls. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a wget of this URL. No way. No way. No, yeah, that's what?
It looks empty. What's going on here?
I think I downloaded a web page. Yeah, that's what happened. Okay, so I didn't find the right download link. It got me. This one is ggmail k4 qs bin. So if I go here, yeah, it gave me. I downloaded this web page. Where's the download button? Clone repository. No, I don't want to download the whole thing. I want to download literally just this one file. Okay. It should, like, you know it works when it's taking a while. Cannot write. No space left on device. Oh, that's funny. Okay, that's I guess 3. Really? I'm out of space? That's crazy. I gotta delete some other model somewhere else. But I do have the other model here, which should have finished. Oh, you know why? It's I run out of space really fast because I create virtual environments for every project, and every time I do that, it basically re-downloads the exact same program that was used, that was already downloaded on another instance. But that's just so it doesn't break. I value stability over storage because storage is cheap. Stability and my peace of mind is not, because I want the stuff to work. So let's just run with what we already have. Wizard Vicuna. We have a save tensor. Let's see if this will work. So let's see. So cat readme. Download the model, copy environment, edit the model path. Okay, so copy.
You could change over to like C transformer or whatever if you're going to use a safe tensor.
Well, it depends on like the it depends on baby AGI. Seriously? Oh, that's great. Okay, hold on. Let me remove what will I remove? Let me remove Wi-Fi. That's okay, let me see. Let's make sure that I can do this. I haven't mounted it. I've got another terabyte somewhere to be able to do this. Let me check. Let's see. So I want to make sure that I can move. Man, these Zoom windows just they fly all over the place. Oh my God, my IP got. Am I on a VPN or something like that? It's crazy. Okay, whatever. TI. Oh my God. That's funny. Okay, then I will move to where's my terabyte? Size. Oh, I guess I have to mount that. Okay, so I will remove another program. That's funny. Remove Python 310. Yeah, I'll just remove this entirely. I have the fancier version. RF. Oh my god. Okay. And we'll see. Okay, I have a few hundred megabytes available. That's still horrible. I have a model somewhere. Oh, I know exactly why I'm using so much space. So let me see. I'm going to go into, oh, okay. I know exactly what to do here. I'm going to go into text generation because I know that, what models, CD models. So yeah, these models take up a lot of space. Now, the one I know that doesn't work is Pygmalion 13B. That one's just way too heavy for me by the bloke 13. RF. Okay. Now that should really clear up my system. Yeah, I got like 4 gigs, 7 gigs. That is a huge model for like nothing. So 7B is all I'll keep. Okay. Now, what was I doing? I am going into baby AGI for all, and then we're gonna go to models, and then I was gonna do the wget for. Whoa, I highlighted that. That's not good. Highlight is how you copy things in this, which is not ideal. Let's see. I am looking for that URL that I had to hunt for. No, it's API keys. Because
looking for a safe tensor file, but before that you were using.
I wanted to run the wget on the bin because of the 3 examples they provided, the bin works for sure, right? What I want to find out right now. Here, I'm gonna demo this. I know the bin works for sure. Okay, there. Can't believe I ran out of storage space. That's crazy. I haven't had the issue. These are all running on SSDs or something like that. Okay. So Vicuna's here, safe tensor's here. So what am I gonna do? I'm going to nano the dot environment file, which is empty because I didn't copy it. Okay. The model path is going to be I have a feeling it's not gonna work, but you know what? We're gonna test. Okay, so this actually is exactly the same as let's see. This is actually exactly the same. It looks like the exact same as baby AGI, but it doesn't have the OpenAI keys in there, at least from the config file. There may be other things that change, so it's still better. The meaning of life, the universe, and everything. Okay. Solve artificial general intelligence. So let's use one of these presets. This is pretty cool. Let's look at world peace. I like that. It's something that we need a little bit of right now. A task list, .vmv extension. Okay, so this is pretty good. Okay, so how to restore world peace. Great. Model path. Let's see. Model path. We want to run. I'm assuming it was in models, and I don't necessarily remember the. I'm going to put this in the background. Control Z, and then I'm going to move here. Baby AGI for all. So the path for that was models from working directory. It was in models, and then it was in wizard Vicuna. What? Why? Is there nothing in here? Oh, you know what? It is not in models. It is. We ran the git pull from here, and then it's the safe tensor file. So this is the trick I like to use for. There's only one safe tensor file, which is the model. Okay, so what I like to do is I actually like to do this which lets me kind of I get the absolute path, which helps me when I need to look at the config file again and be like, where the heck did I leave this? And then I tab complete. This is why I use fish, literally, so I don't go crazy. So that is the absolute location of the path. So I will not have to worry about relative directory and all that stuff. It's just absolute. It's fine. Control X, yes. Okay, I'm assuming I just have to run the Python file now. So let's see. Download the model, copy the file, and then run Python baby AGI. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna know real quick if it can read safe sensors. I doubtful. Let's find out. Okay, it just does not work. But this might be a different issue. So let's. Oh, wait. Hold on. Pip install. This might have been due to not having enough space. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this one is still having an issue, and this is just not working. So that's fine. I had a feeling it wasn't going to work because it's not the correct version. Vicuna? Yeah. Safe tensor is good for a different loader. So this loader, this auto prompter loads bin files. That's what we know now. So we're not gonna do too much trial and error. We know I'm gonna bring this back to the foreground. Let me get the progress bar, 60%. So it's doing its thing. Now delete some of my game. What game? Okay. So I want to use this moment to kind of break down a little bit on Hugging. Hugging Face is like an abyss. It's imagine GitHub, but with the ability to run apps like you know how I had to on GitHub, I had to go and clone the repo on my system and then like read the instructions and like do stuff. Hugging Face is like GitHub on steroids, but only for AI. So, oh no, that game is literally, I'm just running a server. That's what I had up there. So let's say I want to run Wizard 7B uncensored, and I don't know anything about it. I just want to hit the deploy button. It's because of the new stuff. So yeah, you go to SageMaker, you copy this, you paste it in there. Man, they're really updating stuff. I like the old school model versions. So we're gonna go, I don't know, we're gonna go GPT-Q. We're gonna do Wizard Uncensored 7B because I actually want the thing to run properly. Hit deploy. So it's kind of cool. You can do. What are they doing? They've changed it. They've really changed it. It used to be so easy to deploy. At least if you use Amazon SageMaker, fine, but I don't use it too much because I just run it locally. SageMaker? Okay, cool. So
Can you talk a little bit about the difference between like why you would want to use a safe tensor GPTQ or why you wouldn't want to use it or use a bin? Like, what's the real difference right there?
Bins are old, safe tensors are new, and then I saw this new file format about 10 minutes ago that's even newer. They are more optimized. They use less VRAM, and they will respond quicker. They do cool things, but this one is a bin file, good old fashioned bin file. So deploy, we're just gonna hit spaces, right? And then we're gonna create new space, and then license. Where's other Gradio? I'm just gonna use it that way. Look, we got a free CPU for free, or 32 gigs an hour, or we can use the NVIDIA stuff. And this is why Google Colab is amazing, because all their GPUs are free. Because here on Hugging Face, you would have to pay 60 cents an hour, to use a T4 small or T4 medium NVIDIA, 15 gigs of RAM, 30 gigs. Google gives you the T4 15 gigs of VRAM for free if you can queue up. So use that. You can do a public, create space. This is how you would like launch it, but because I saw, I'm like, oh, it runs Python files. I'm just gonna run it on Colab instead, and you don't have to worry about too much. But you could do it this way. Create the space. It takes some time to initialize. Obviously, Hugging Face uses Google Cloud on the back end as well, so it's pretty nifty. But if you want to, like, you can see it's doing the same kind of output code that you would have saw in Google Colab Notebook, and then there you go. It's the same kind of thing. Hey, test, submit. Now, if you want stuff to work, use 7B model, use something that isn't like super heavy if you want to see actual responses. And this is using a UI called Gradio. So you're going to see they're all using this. It's a built on Flask. It's in Python API. Hack a server or a Wi-Fi. This is going to take some bit. So someone said I was trying to hack a server Wi-Fi. I actually have 2 network interfaces on the server. I was trying to do a Wi-Fi around the area to see if I could do anything there. So it's kind of just like a fun CTF challenge because I have like a rogue access point that's inside the same room as the server that I can use to pen test to Wi-Fi hack from here. So that's what that was what I deleted with Wi-Fi. So this is done. Bin cool. Okay, echo. Let's see. Can we do? No, if I do PWD. Okay. And then we're gonna do this. Oh, what happened? Oh, it's because I highlighted that one space. And I'm using Solar Putty because it's the least painful, but still pretty painful. Okay, here's the path. We're gonna now go into the working directory. We're gonna nano the .environment file. And then we're gonna change this. We're gonna change this path. So we've ruled out safe tensors don't work using a I believe this is the transformers model loader. That's what it is on the back end, but don't quote me on that. I would have to look at the code to make sure, but it's not using the GPTQ loader, that's for sure. Python 3. And we're gonna do baby AGI. Okay. Oh, that's not good. What's the issue here? Baby AGI models readme. So this is I have to baby AGI for all. No. It should be good here. So the baby AGI for all code is slightly different than the baby AGI code. So this is kind of I got this working. Actually, wait. I think I have this working already on my local system. I just have to find it. Baby AGI all. Let me see. I ran this locally in a PyCharm, or no, in a VS Code. But I want to showcase what it kind of looks like. I had a different model running on it too. I'm kind of sad that it opened recent. Let's see. No, that's not going to do it. I think I might have deleted it here, but let's see what this is. Oh, this is another troubleshooting technique that helps a lot. You just grab this stuff, dump it into I use GPT-4. Let me showcase what this looks like. And this is kind of just in the troubleshooting process of things. Sometimes the error messages are just like, it's such a brick of text. It's like I'm gonna zone out if I look at it. Oh, and you know what? It helps when you have a new chat for a new error because it's trying to use the previous chat context, like the Gaza stats of what's happening there, as part of the context for fixing this code, which is nothing helpful. Pedantic settings. Oh, okay, so here we go. It looks like it looks like a pip install thing could probably fix that. Oh, I know exactly what happened. I did not, what happened here? Source, maybe AGI. I know exactly, I'm not in the virtual environment. ChatGPT won't play. Yeah, it's source, baby AGI. There we go. Now I can do this. Probably run out of memory so fast. Let's see how much memory I have left. 9 gigs? Okay, we can live. Yeah, no, when you run AI systems, it really makes you like it pushes you to the limits of computational advancements, and you really realize like I don't have enough RAM. Oh, I actually need more storage. It gives you a reason to go get more stuff because otherwise, no, you can browse, you can run games, all that stuff is fine. It's not going to move that fast.
156 gig on a computer is like getting a iPhone with like 120 gig on it. How long does that can really last you?
Of RAM or yeah. Well, originally this was only designed to run like 2 services, and then I was like, yeah, I'll just start adding. I do have 1 terabyte somewhere else too. I just haven't loaded it on. So this I'm gonna do pip install our requirements. Okay, so now I'm in here. Should be all okay. No, that should be good. I'm gonna try running it again. Python, baby AGI. And then it looks like I'm still having the errors with all the other things. So yeah, this is where I go into like, hey, what's going on with the repo? There's obviously some issues with a few things because, and let's see if there's any. No, this branch is not super. Oh, this is a fork of it. Now, let's. We do have one thing we could do. We do have one thing that we can do. We're gonna go to the normal baby AGI, and then we're going to go into environment. Llama model path. So the absolute, what was the this one is the ls, so print working directory, and then so we want to grab this. I swear I thought I did this earlier. Oh, it was in the other chat. That's okay. I'm gonna do this one. We're gonna do echo this, and then we're gonna grab the which file is it? I think it's wizard. Hold on, that's weird. Open this up a little bit. Do ls, see what's here. Nothing. Oh, right. That was deleted. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The bin file's right here. And then the bin 1. So it said to the path, and we're just gonna use the normal path. So current working directory. And then we're gonna do echo this. And then we're gonna do wizard, the first one. Perfect. Got the full path, absolute. We're gonna put that here. I'm gonna leave the example. I like that. I'm gonna paste it in here. That's annoying. I copied a space and that, or I highlighted a space and I copied it. Okay, because we know that baby AGI for all did work before, right? So fantastic. And then we know that the UI also did work. So I want to test a couple things now. I'm going to test one. Does it work with the baby AGI for all UI? Tab through it. So I want to run what was it? It's npm. No, that's cat readme. Oop. And basically, once you get a project set up, you just set it up as a systemd service, and like you're good to go. You don't have to like kind of remember how to do this stuff again until you open it again. Okay, so that's open there. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I don't like to use VMs personally is because of the NVIDIA driver issues. Virtual machines and NVIDIA don't like each other. Because you have to tell the VM to virtually grab your hardware's GPU, which is really difficult. Causes lots of issues sometimes. So here we don't see any changes in the UI, right? But let's see here. Let's see if we can comment out. Let's see if we can comment out this API key, because I don't want it to use ChatGPT. I want it to use the local model. Python, maybe AGI. No model, no. Oh, I know why. Let me. I'm in the virtual environment still. What's happening right now? Source, baby AGI, and then it's bin, and then it's activate fish. What's going on? I should be in the baby AGI, I think. We're gonna do pip install. It's really weird, actually. It should be able to do this. And then this is kind of at the point where I would be like, okay, time to wipe and pave it all, right? But my main objective is like the baby AGI thing is kind of cool, but me personally, I would only bother to run it locally because it would use up way too many resources to run it. Because I like to run it for a week. I want to see what it could do in a week. Or I would run it for just a few days or whatever to see what output I can get. Or when it comes to programming, let's say I have a challenge I want to fix. I want to set it before I go to sleep, wake up, see what program and Python files I was able to create. That is the real benefit of this stuff. It's not like just grabbing it. Obviously, yeah, I could run it from ChatGPT. That's cool too. I mean, I have the version you saw on Linux on the Kali does pull from the API for ChatGPT, but these ones are accessible as well. And this one works pretty well for what it is. This one does work. They did change it a little bit since then, but I'm probably gonna figure out what's going on here and kind of